Dean, there was a time on Auxiliary when I made one single Facebook post, and it completely changed like the entire direction of your collecting journey. I would say more than a year, but maybe 2 years plus.
Oh yeah,
Right? I made a
100%.
made a post. I was just casually looking at some Robotech stuff, and you were like,
Yeah.
"Damn, I should start buying Robotech stuff."
Well, yeah. You were like, "Hey, my wife is gonna get me something. I think it was your birthday,
Yeah, something like
and
that.
I'm looking at this item, and I was like, "Oh, bro, I own that. Like, it's great. You should totally get that." And then I was like, "Damn, it's been a minute since I've watched Robotech, and then like, I had to go get that figure out of storage, and
Uh,
I went to go get it, and I just fell in love with it all over again. And then of course I started watching it again, and I was just like, oh man, like I'm totally an adult now. Because we're gonna talk a little bit later about Grails as a kid,
yeah,
and I was like, I have adult money to buy collectibles from Robotech, and the quality of Robotech figures now as opposed to back then is night
yeah.
and day. So like I just started buying all kinds of cool figures, and yeah, I have a whole, I mean, a small museum worth of Robotech figures now. So yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
So
Isn't it
my
crazy how?
Sorry,
oh, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
go,
Go
go.
ahead, guys. I was gonna say, isn't it just insane how one can turn into multiple so freaking quickly? It's like before you know it, you look back like, oh, I just started with this, and all you got a museum.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
crazy.
Now, my question for you guys. We're doing these questions. I hope you guys like them. If you do, if you don't, let us know because we're, kind of teetering on keeping them or not keeping them. But my question for you guys tonight, and I'll answer it first, is over the last year, so, January to January, what form of media influenced your collecting the most? For me, it's got to be The Mandalorian. I went full tilt. I want to say around May, June of last year. With I got the premium format. I got a bunch of different Lego stuff. I got a bunch of Black Series stuff. I bought and sold the Hot Toys like twice, and it's continuing on into 2023. Working on some stuff with 3D printing. Some stuff I'm very excited for, and yeah, I'm just curious, Dean. Do you have a specific? And I'm not talking
Yeah,
about like other streamers. I'm talking about like a produced form of media
yeah,
that has really influenced you lately.
yeah. This past year was all Final Fantasy VII stuff because the game came out. Uh, was it 2020? I think April 2020. So the figures weren't going to be out for another year. And then they've slowly been coming out. I think the last two that I needed came out back in like September, October. And there's still a couple I'm waiting for that are still not out yet. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII dominated my collecting last year. So video games, I guess, is the media.
For me, it wouldn't necessarily be media because I don't think there's been any media in the last year that's been up to par as to where it should be. That's at least influenced my collecting. For me, it is more the streaming, going on different shows, statue shows, hot toy shows, and discussing with peers different ideas, different display ideas, and just discussing pieces and bouncing ideas off of each other. That's really what's kind of helped me make decisions with the collecting. But to say an actual show, I think besides Mando, there really hasn't been anything that's made me say, "Hey, I want to collect a piece from this movie." Maybe besides the Batman with Pattinson.
Yeah, but all that stuff's not out yet. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
but you could still have also spent money on like deposits and making space or selling things to get those
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah. That I would say that would count. Yeah, I agree.
What about you, Marco?
Was it the Zack Snyder cut that came out last year? That was a all right. So it's pretty funny when that was announced. I was like, okay, they're doubling down on this universe. Like we're getting more, of these characters. They've given us, the Snyder Cut, and so I really started going down the line of collecting DC Hot Toys, which I already had a passion for. But I was like, I got to track down the BVS Batman before he goes too crazy after that, Snyder Cut comes out. And so, started snatching those up, and it's just so funny to see where we're at now, where they've completely shut that idea down, completely rebooting the franchise. So I still have a lot of strong feelings towards those films, but I think I, kind of went off in the wrong direction towards a dead franchise. So learned my lesson there. But yeah, the Snyder Cut reignited my love for DCEU for sure.
Mark, you better up.
Well,
buddy.
I was told I
Jesus,
was
Mark.
supposed to wait for an announcement for me to talk.
An announcement.
yeah, that was
What are
also-
you, king of
You were the last
king of
one.
what are you, king of Geneva?
Well, 'cause
You need
I
to
don't
need
shut up
an announcement.
I talk too much. But literally,
That was my bad, Mark.
No, you're good.
Marco did.
You
fuck
don't
that
need to
up, be
transition
honest.
me, brother. I'm sorry. Nah, but I would literally say my medium was probably Zach, because I've
wow.
since I went to AuxCon, I've wanted to curate my collection, and I was just, it's funny because I bought the Indiana Jones DX05 from Danny, and it arrived today. He held on to it for a little while for me, but I got to the point where I'm just like, if I don't have an idea for it, it's one thing to just buy stuff you like. And I've been in that phase too long as a collector. A lot of collectors, they smarten up and they say, okay, they focus to a point, or they just have an idea. And then there's a certain point where you're just a hoarder. So it's like, so now I'm just buying stuff where I have an idea for it, and I want to get a space for it.
Yeah.
And I have certain stuff coming, and like from Zach Spencer, I have a couple of Lord of the Rings stuff coming. Like, I'm just gonna buy stuff I really like, because there's certain things, because I see a lot of like the McFarlane Avatar stuff, because I don't want to buy the Hot Toy stuff. At some point, it just becomes too much. Like the McFarlane Avatar stuff looks really cool to me, and that's stuff that I'm very interested in. But from seeing Zach's collection in one room, it's like a, I don't know what it is. What's it like? Not even a 10 by 10. It's like a 9 by 11 or something.
How dare you? First off, it's like a 10.5, 11 by like 10.
Which
But
is
dude, that's
a lot.
But that
I mean, you
room
could
is-
certainly get away with like a room much smaller.
I
3
know.
by 3 would be perfect, honestly.
I know from the chat. I'm not supposed to say any cuss words, but Zach's room is stacked. It's stacked.
It really is.
It's sexy, dude. Zach's room is so sexy. Like, I just want to fill my room with miniatures after going to see Zach's room.
I promise
Zach-
you guys, I have filmed my collection tour. I don't make real content, so it's taking me a while to edit this 10-minute video.
Yeah.
But I promise it is coming.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I filmed it, but I do have something coming like in a couple days, and let me film that. And then it's like, well, this just got here, and this is going to be here on Friday, so I'll just
Okay,
wait again.
it's not even that. My thing was that my desk was a little messy, and eventually got to the point where I was like, I'm just gonna shoot it, like, like Einstein's desk, like a snapshot of a genius at work, right? It is not gonna be super clean. It's like, the Howard Stern of 1/6 scale.
Minus
I
the
think we've
genius.
been minus
I was gonna say,
10 of listeners, John. 10 of listeners.
I wish I had a proper analogy, but like when I walked in there, it was like the end of this 2001: A Space Odyssey, where they're like, you know what I mean, where he like goes from like being like a full-grown adult and then a child and
were the
like
Star
space
Child.
time. Dude, I swear to God,
Yeah.
that's what I went through.
Yeah, Zach's collection is also like in like there's like sections. Like, this is Lord of the Rings, this is Star Wars, this is 3 3/4, this is Black Series, this
anybody work?
is miscellaneous, this is minis, this is Lord of the Ring minis, it's very clean.
I'm excited to
Yeah.
show you guys. Let's do this.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there. We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in a doll collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
This is the true form of lore gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm John.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Mark.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank our lovely listeners for tuning in live, catching us on the replays, on the YouTubes, on whatever podcast platform you're listening to right now.
Shout out to all the homies in Vietnam and Qatar. We love you guys.
And
Shout out to
Portugal.
all the pairs.
And Portugal, that's right.
And shout out to all the haters, because it's still a view. Love you guys.
Yeah, there you go. Thumbs me down. That counts as a thumbs me up.
Oh yeah, please, haters, thumbs down.
Haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna
Sure.
potate. Boom.
Well, we have a great show planned for you guys tonight. We have not a lot to talk about, but we're here, we're live, and I'm not a cat. We got Toy Mafia in the chat. We got Dante's Boneyard,
If you know, you know.
Lane Kramer, King Ding, Vane 21. I don't even collect hot toys, but this show has grown on me. Vane, you sweet angel. Sweet angel.
Well, I don't know about
He also
sweet.
said, David Jones, Vane says, is Ben still at sensitivity training? Ben is actually coming to America. He's in California, I think.
He's stuck with the... Oh, shit, I forgot it. At the Border Patrol.
DJ
Customs.
They found his
Seems
weed.
racial.
Yeah,
Pablo
the Canadian
Mesa.
government was like, we heard what you said. You're going to jail.
Lane Kramer, Alvin J, Paul Schreiber. What a lineup. Love to see you sweet angels together. Absolute Irwin, Yomo, Mr. Mom Collectibles. Paul says just cancel the grip of BBTS pre-orders. Took a hard look at 10 plus pages of pre-orders.
Jesus.
Cut a good portion. I do it
I
all
hope
the
a
time.
lot of those were NECA.
That's right. Yeah, love to see it, Dean. SpongeBob SquareBalls, Feezy's figures. Bemed just saw the thumbnail. Miss you, boys. Good to see you guys.
Hey!
Smashing it.
You worked on Avatar.
I miss
Hell
him
yeah.
too.
He did.
He
Dude,
did
I
an
miss Bemed.
amazing... I do, yeah. Amazing
Me
job.
and Bema, BFS, we always tag each other in rugby stuff with the All Blacks. Let's see here. We got Equan. He says, your organization has gotten me throbbing, Zach. You'd love to see it. Universal Key. Andre. Mark went into Zach's room, saw his miniature, and felt a feeling that's hard to explain. Hashtag forgive Ben. Oh, God. What about
It's actually a
the
pretty big
reseller
miniature.
Thank God, Ninja.
Oh yes, it's
It's
huge.
like a regulature.
Yeah.
Wow. Dante said Ben's on.
Nanjin's
It's-
like
it's a
fucking Ben's not on
massive
CW this week. Thank God.
Jesus Christ. Oh, boy.
Oh, my Lord.
Ben's currently in Southern California at a taqueria asking them if they speak English. Can I order an English
Jesus
here?
The fuck's a
Christ.
taqueria?
Can I get
Wow.
a tortilla and some
Yeah.
carne guisada, please?
What are frijoles?
What's a pole?
Yeah. I feel like you made.
Is
I
this
feel like it's a
spicy?
personal attack.
Guacamole, please?
Will this burn coming out?
Jesus Christ.
What were you saying,
Ben's
Mark?
poor rectum. Mark, what were you saying?
Mark, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying Frijitos because that was a big joke when we were down at AuxCon because Marco would turn into like full like I don't know how to
Roll
say
the
like
R's.
Spanish.
Full
I don't-
Let
I
us
don't
say
know.
that, Mark.
He
Let us
started
say that,
speaking
Mark.
it was still English, but it wasn't. You know,
Wow.
Spanglish?
Spanglish.
Yeah, like-
Spanglish is
yeah.
what they call it.
when he would order, and I was like, he's like, just order blah 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 blah. You know, I don't want to get canceled.
It's
We
better
re-
than
we
doing an
replaced-
accent, so thank
And
you.
then I would
We
go
replaced
in there and
one
I'm
for
like,
another
can I
one, huh?
order? I was like, and then I couldn't. He'd say something, and then I would just like, please give me something that sounds like something good. Like it was terrible.
Oh, what a guy.
Dean, we have a very special segment that all the best shows of ours start out with.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? I had a pretty good week. I picked up a couple Sonic figures that I really needed, and one I thought I needed and I fucked up on, so really bummed out. But I got Metal Sonic, which sells for like $50 on his own, and this dude had it in like a lot of figures for like $40, and I was like, I already have the other figures, but it'd be cheaper to buy it just on its like in the lot. But I sent him a message. I was like, yo, is there any way you'll sell this to me on its own? He's like, well, if it doesn't sell in a week, like I'll think about it. Sure enough, he hits me up. He's like, $10. I'm like, done. So I got it pretty much for retail plus shipping. So that was cool. Manny picked up Big the Cat for me. He's also a figure. It just came out. He sells for like $40 on Mercari.
How many are in this line? I feel like every week you're getting a new one.
There's
I'm like,
12. There's 12 waves of 4.
Holy cow! Okay.
Yeah. So there's like, I'm only getting because there's a lot of like repeat characters, like Shadow and Silver and Sonic all have like Super Shadow, Super Silver, Super Sonic.
Okay.
I only got Super Sonic because he's the only one that matters to me. There's a lot of like repeats that I don't get, but yeah, any individual characters, yeah. I only need 2 more. I need Knuckles and Chaos.
Oh, you're this close.
Bro, Manny, when he picked up this Big the Cat for me, he had Knuckles in his hand. I was like, you know what? I already ordered one. Don't worry about it. I got it in the mail. It was the wrong one.
Wait, which Knuckles do you need? The one that I gave you, or the more anime?
From the game Knuckles.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, this is the 4-inch line. I accidentally ordered the 2-inch line.
I mean, which both are. I mean, you'd be pretty
adequate.
Satisfied, I think, with the 2-inch line. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's good enough for a lot of people.
Unfortunately, it doesn't match, so I need the 4-inch Knuckles. So, yeah,
Look
so
at
I only
this.
need 2 more. But Wave 13 is coming out, and there's another character in that I'm gonna need. So, I'm not going anywhere on the Sonic line, so I'm really excited about that. Also, I got my Melina figure from Figure Arts Mini from Elden Ring. I've been waiting for that. It was on pre-order for like a year or so. Got her, and then I got back into Hatsune Miku music, and I wanted to pick up some. I wanted to pick up some Miku figures. I used to have this. The one on the left is a noodle topper.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, where they do this thing in Japan where like you cook your ramen noodles and then you close the top to keep the steam in there, and you top the noodles with like a figure. They're like literally designed to sit on top of noodles.
I'd let
just
her sit
one
on
way
top
their
of me if
culture
they
is
got
just so much cooler in
Well,
so many respects.
Yeah, Calm Down's actually 16.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Well,
Jesus Christ, Dean.
Art is making me have an organism in my trousers.
I had to use it.
What kind of shit ass clip is that?
Where did that
great. God. Okay, so
I had to work that in. Like I just had to.
Anyway, I used to have this noodle topper Miku on my shelves, and one day she just vanished into thin air. I have like pictures of my collection, and she's there, and then in the next photo, she's just gone. Have no idea where she went. I've since moved, never found her. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I got a pile of loot at BBTS. I'm just gonna buy another one. So I did. She's right here, sitting next to me. So
have you made noodles with it yet?
I have not.
Wow.
You actually cook with this thing?
Huh?
You can actually cook with this?
It's not the only thing he does.
Guys.
Sorry, I drained that one. He said, Mimi Nushi, whatever he said.
Mama Fuku. Sam Giss says never play that clip again. And Andre said the show is great. You'd be happy with 2 inches.
Yeah. So.
Congrats.
Anyway, John, to answer your question, yeah, when you cook the ramen, you add the hot water. You like close the lid, and then you set the figure on the lid so the steam doesn't escape. There's literally like thousands of noodle topper figures, like of like any character in any anime you've ever watched. It's like a huge thing they sell over there.
Well, they really do milk. People will buy anything, eh? Us.
I did. So, that was. And then
I need to make a CW noodle topper.
Today, I also got the Black Series. How do you say her name? Ayala Sakura. Ayla
Sakura.
Yeah, I've heard so many different pronunciations. I don't fucking know. It's spelled weird, but I picked her up. I got Commander Bly to go with her, so that was a cool addition. Wasn't expecting to pick that up.
Don't you dare, Mark. Oh.
But that was my new this week. What about you guys?
I thought he was going to get a noodle topper.
Marco,
I do.
I think you got something.
Yeah, so just really quick. So I ended up getting this Hot Toys Grogu accessory pack. So
baby Grogs.
$105 shipped. felt pretty good about
Wow,
that.
that's not bad, actually.
That's not
Yeah,
bad,
so
yeah.
No shit.
So I ended up
I might have
ordering
to
a
look at
custom
that.
base. Yeah, dude, it comes with the Lothcat. It comes with a bunch of cool little accessories. So
The frogs?
definitely still overpriced, but at that price, I could live with myself a bit more. So yeah, nice little addition.
Overpriced is a relative term in 2023.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
true.
Okay, Mark.
Plus, when you're collecting what we collect, everything is
Yeah.
overpriced.
Oh my
so.
god.
Oh,
It's
man.
devastating.
man, I got some new My next new this week's coming from Mark. So
Yeah, let's go.
Ooh.
Excited about it.
Wait. You shipped it already, Mark?
I didn't ship it yet.
What the hell?
It's
You're
in a
supposed to send me
box.
pictures that I'm supposed to be reviewing. What the hell, Mark?
I got COVID this weekend.
Judas.
I didn't tell
Judas,
anybody.
Mark. How dare you?
okay, well don't
No.
ship it yet.
Well, now
Coughing all over these figures.
the stuff I was gonna ship in your box to give to Dean, I'm gonna put in the box.
Well,
for
you say you're gonna send me pictures, and then I can, select the things.
Yeah.
Why does he get to select before me? What the fuck?
All right, well, hold on. Oh,
you don't
okay,
have
hold
what
on.
me
I'm
and
gonna
Mark
pause
have,
it.
okay?
We can't swear anymore, guys.
I
Remember?
talk Mark in.
You're not a 3.75 guy, Dean.
Yeah, Dean.
I mean, for some people that's enough, and other people it's not enough.
I probably have more 3.75 than fucking Zach does.
Fuck you.
He's been a 501st
I
circle
okay.
character.
I was looking at the Grogu set, and we're gonna talk about Sideshow's website, but I wanted to experience it live, and it is bad.
Really
God,
that
it's
bad?
not
I have
good.
yet to go on.
There's a lot. It's like an explosion of just I don't even know what that even is. Also, that's
And their
145
website was
for that
one of
set.
their strengths, I would say.
It was
minus
clean.
the search engine. Yeah, it was
There's
a
so
good
many
website.
words.
You don't
Why
like
does
the
it
new
do
site?
words?
There's a new site? Is
I think
that what
it's
you're
fine.
saying?
Yeah, we're gonna look at it in a second.
People are just
Okay.
buggy.
So I did a deal with Rainer for a Lucky Leku gunship 3.75, and we'll talk about it again on Thursday with Small Talk. But it was an interesting trade that we did. There was kind of some things that happened along the way, some parts that were missing I wasn't expecting. Fortunately, Dean knows this as well. There's a lot of great file makers out there for 3.75 where they'll either scan or digitally model parts that are essentially one-to-one equivalents to the real parts. So I was able to print all the parts that I was missing and basically complete the gunship. So I'm really excited. I picked up some extra 501st Troopers from Amazon, and then I customized one of them with a pauldron, and I love it. I got it displayed on my DTOF. It's nice and clean, and it's pretty good. The second gunship that I picked up, we'll talk about that Thursday, because it was a whole bunch of drama with that one. And
Dude, you should make Apo.
all I need is the little ammo pouches. So once I find those, yeah, definitely.
And the comma. Oh, no, he doesn't have a comma. Or he does. It's weird.
Depends on when and where.
That's fucking
when and
crazy.
where. I also started. I'm almost done with it, so I have some progress photos. But Ian had made me a Mudhorn for 3.75 scale, and I have not finished it yet. But I have the file, and I was thinking, like, well, I really like the Black Series Arvala 7 Mando, the Muddy Mando. And I was like, now that I have a printer that can print quite large, like, what's the biggest size Mudhorn I could make, splitting the file in half? And it turns out it's quite large. And so I printed, it's a 4-piece file, the front, the back, and then the base front and the base back. So that's the raw print there of the Mudhorn. And then that's the size of it compared to the Black Series figure. So it's
That looks perfect.
Pretty big. And this is it right now. It's like maybe 70% done. And I gotta say,
oh, nice.
I like it a lot. I do. Yeah, what you kept saying mud in the chat, but I didn't know what you were saying.
Well, it's a mud horn, and then you caked on the mud. I was like, wow, emphasis on the mud.
Well,
that's
he's like
'cause you
muddy in
had-
the show. He's like it's all covered in mud. He sleeps in the mud. He's in the mud.
You took that to heart. You were like, yo.
You know what's funny? I thought that I didn't have enough mud from the way that you wrote that, and I was like, I mean, I'm gonna try to add some of that like grit.
You added more, bro. You're gonna lose all the detail.
There's gonna be no horn left.
It's
just
like
gonna
that
be all mud.
time. It's like that time you were like, yeah, I'm gonna weather my Mark 42.
No, this is not like that. How dare you?
This is like that. I love that.
How dare you, Dean? I will pull up the Mudhorn right now, the footage of the show, and prove you wrong. But anyways, I'm super happy with it. The print came out super clean. A little bit of filler primer.
Yeah, as long as you're happy with it, who cares what I think?
Okay, you fucking guy.
Well,
I care what you think.
let's talk legitimately here. I mean, that was probably the most emotional scene.
It's kind of a fucked up scene. He's like, I know he's got to get his parts back, but this Mudhorn was an innocent bystander in this whole transaction.
Well, no. But the thing is, but Mando is ready to die. He's looking. He's just like, you know, at this point, he just felt like he was a machine. You know what I mean? He's calculated. You know, he's a Mando. He's supposed to die. And then he gained humanity after this, if you think about it. Because Grogu gave him his humanity. You know what I mean? It's that whole having a kid. Anybody that has a kid understands the situation.
That was deep.
Dude, I got
deep for this show, Mark. Come on.
Dude, I got emotional the first time I saw this scene. And it was like that whole, I don't know, Coco. The movie Coco I can't watch by myself because of the same situation. I can't watch this scene by myself.
How did we get here?
This is such a cool fucking scene. And this is what fucking Disney Plus promised me. And I keep paying every month and I haven't fucking reached this. I mean, there's a couple moments.
March 1st, episode 1, season 3. I'm almost there.
I don't want to be negative.
The
but
trailer looked really good.
I'm not into the whole all the Mandalorians together and all that thing.
Okay, I saw a clip, but I vaguely remember reading about it, like when they were filming it, that it's a legit thing. The Snoop Dogg plays one of the Mandos. That's a real thing, right?
No.
But not like he's just like, you know, because he's famous, you can kind of do famous people things. Like he's just like an extra Mando.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, because he was in that vampire movie we saw the other day, and it was awesome in that.
Oh, he was pretty fucking good in that, to be honest.
Daylight, or what's it called?
Okay, but this is Star Wars.
Day
Day
shift. Yeah. He's very intellectual. As long as he's not like smoking something like in the show, then it becomes too like stereo. Then it becomes too much.
He does like Snoop Dogg cameos, and then he does like actual acting roles. When he does acting roles, he's great. So hopefully it's one of those.
Let's I guess Dean doesn't like my Mudhorn, but I like it.
I said I liked it.
No,
I love it.
It's too much mud. Well, what do you want it to look like? There's two words in the name, mud and horn. I achieved both of those things. Let's get into the news. Hot Toys. What is this? Snoop Dogg's also. Oh, okay. Hot Toys dropped 2 Avatar figures. We have Jake Sully and Tiri. Both come in regular and deluxe, and the price points for these are $335 for the regular, $380 for the deluxe, releasing January to June 2024. I will say this: I've always held in my own beliefs that joints are better than no joints, and I 100% stand by that with these figures. I think. You know, when you think Avatar and you think of the film, I haven't seen the second film, but at least the first film, they are very dynamic in the way that they move, right? Lots of motion, lots of posability. And I think, you know, in order for you to really maximize the posing potential of these figures, you're going to want to be able to bend their arms and bend their legs and move their arms and move their legs. And I don't think that anyone particularly would want to be hindered by having the rubber-sleeved arms, personally.
Zach, I hear what you're saying, but why did they give us the most bland face ever? If you want to pose them dynamically...
You are not wrong. I'm getting there. You are 100% correct. In fact, I'll let you tackle that one. I'll change gears. What I've seen a lot in the groups, and I don't quite understand, is complaints on the price point. $335 for the regular, $380 for the deluxe. These are not 12-inch figures. They are massive figures. Mm-hmm. The original one, which I want to say came out in 2012, but I could be wrong. Marco, maybe if you can double check that for me, was $315. So you're paying $20 more many years later, and you are getting the 2023 quality of Hot Toys. And I think in a lot of ways, I think they've done very well. In some ways, like Marco said, what Marco will touch on, I think that they could do better. But I think what's most interesting about this tease for me is that they showed the Banshees. And it's not like they just kind of showed the Banshees. They're like front and center, full focus. Like, I mean, they're They're showing the Banshees. And I can't even fathom how large an in-scale 1/6 Banshee would be. But I think this would be such an amazing display for Hot Toys. One, again, I haven't seen the movie, but these Banshees look pretty similar to the ones from the first film. So you're allowing those that have the first movie figure to improve their display and not forcing them to buy a new one. And two, it's just a fucking awesome display for the new ones. One of the most amazing scenes of the movie when they ride the Banshees. And I'm really hoping that they give us those. Price-wise, I have no idea what this thing would cost. It's going to be massive. But this would be really neat. And McFarlane did it. So I would love to see Hot Toys do these.
On your question on when the first figures dropped, I'm seeing 2012.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Dean, what are we thinking about these? We'll talk about Natier here in a second, but we'll talk about Jake Sully first.
Yeah, I think these look great. I agree with you about the joints. I mean, as cool as Seamless would look, I just don't think they would last very long. So longevity-wise, I'm glad to see that there's joints. And they're not too unsightly, I don't think, so I think it's fine. But yeah, these are cool. I enjoyed this movie. There were some bits of it I was like, this is kind of stupid, but you know, it's Avatar. It's not like to me, it's not like groundbreaking, which I guess like it is in its own way, or the first movie, but this movie was just like, okay. But yeah, I like it. I honestly really have nothing negative to say about these. Yeah, I think they're cool. Jake Sully was pretty badass in that movie, so I kind of want to pick these up, but it's gonna be expensive, dude. To get both, because you need both, you know.
It's worth it though. They're well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wait to see what John says because I think you have the first one, yeah.
Yeah, I have the first one.
Yeah,
we'll cycle back to the movie versus Hot Toys photos, but we'll pull up Natier also.
But I thought the exact same thing as you with the Banshees because I was like, they're not like teased, they're full on shown. So it's not just like a wing or like the back. It's like full front and center, and I was like, this thing would be so fucking big.
Yeah,
it's like 36-inch wingspan minimum, I think. Because even the McFarlane, I think they're like a little bit small, not that small, but
yeah.
Well, they brought him to like a Hot Toy show.
Has everyone seen this movie?
Takes up a whole wall.
I haven't. Yeah, they're massive. I haven't seen the movie.
I've
seen the first one, but not the second.
Really fun movie.
Anything, but
don't.
Yeah.
Vane was saying, do you think they'll do the mech suits? I wish. That would be incredible.
Yeah, and I think if they do the mech suits, they also open up Miles, the Colonel, which I think he was one of the standout characters of the first film.
Yeah.
I would like that, and I think Hot Toys does mechs very well, so I think that would be...
Yeah, they had so much potential with the first film, too. I don't know why
I think we're lucky to get these two, though. I don't think they're going any further down this line, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean... Yeah,
not if people are already complaining about the price. I can't
say it without spoiling it. So
don't spoil it. So
I don't think the price is bad though.
No, I know, but people
10 years, 11 years difference.
When you're paying at Iron Man prices, like this is I own the original, the size, the presence. Let's get into the base discussion. The bases are really nice. A lot of detail in those bases.
John, just to interrupt you for a second, did you ever do a retro unboxing on?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to watch that.
And just to clarify, the base that John's talking about is here. That's what you get with the deluxe versions of these figures. You pay.
It's a light up ocean floor.
Yeah, with
USB powered.
USB powered.
It's nice.
It's got some kind of leafy greens on it and some. Just
a brain coral. Look at that.
Sounds like I'm watching the movie of the week. We're discussing the movie of the week already.
Wow.
Well, I'm describing
there you go.
people listening.
There you go, John.
There you go.
You could taste the ocean. You're eating the ocean, John.
Exactly.
Okay, got one.
I think this is cool. Beautiful release. No way. I'd take the joints the way they are. I don't want seamless because that bend there, even having the first one, I don't want seamless. I'm fine with the seams there. Put the band around his arm on the seam and hide it somehow. You could do a lot of things to hide that. Do a custom band. I don't care. Just know the seams are good, because most people are not going to want to display this in a museum pose, and you're going to have to if it's seamless. Right? They're going to be like statues. Banshees, I can't see the Banshees coming. I would say they maybe do them in 1/12, but it wouldn't make sense because then the figures wouldn't match the Banshees. But at first I was super excited for the Banshees, but when we saw them in those photos, they're massive. It takes up a whole wall. I'm excited for these. When I first saw them, I was like, day one, I'm going to pre-order this because I like Avatar. Avatar is one of my favorites. But the portraits, and we're going to get into the comparison portraits of the movie, they need to work on the portraits. I can't put any money close to this.
Yeah, John, go ahead and hit that talking point now.
Okay. That Neytiri is... I haven't watched the film yet, but based on the comparison photos, boy, that's rough. I find the eyebrows are squared as opposed to having that cylindrical shape. And same with the eyes, they look just dead. Like
they're lifeless, yeah.
They're lifeless. So it could be the photos that they took. But I'm not liking the portraits so far. Jake, you could get away with it. I've seen some other photos of Jake. He looks okay. You could get away with Jake, but this is a combo purchase. I wouldn't buy one without the other. They have to fix that Neytiri.
My only complaint with Jake is it looks like they took his head and just like smushed it. It's too narrow, and like the thickness of his braids or whatever they are.
I think the thickness of the braids is really what makes the difference.
The painting is beautiful, and I completely agree with John. I think it's because in the movie their eyes, they're almost like glowing, like how radiant they are, and with the Hot Toys, it looks like they just did like a normal eye effect. And I completely agree. I think they are lifeless, but 100% what Margot said earlier, like the fact that they just look so bored. And like if you're going to give them joints, I'll let Marco go on about that, but I think that they've done a disservice here by not giving you a second portrait, to be honest.
Yeah, I just really quickly wanted to touch on Neytiri's bow size, if I can, before I forget. It's a little bit small. Actually, it's like perfect size, but it's not scaled correctly, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's definitely a weakness here. So a lot of inaccuracies, like to what you see on the film.
That makes no sense. It's perfectly sized, but
I think he was making a penis joke.
It's plenty big. It's just not scaled correctly. That's all. That was my point. So inaccuracies. I just think this would have been a perfect. First of all, I'm glad that they're giving us something that's not Star Wars and Marvel. So, but I also don't want to be like, oh, I'm just grateful that they're giving it to us, because I always hate that attitude. So glad that they're venturing out a bit. But this would have been perfect figures to kind of innovate, right? They're like larger. They're somewhere between 6 scale and quarter scale in terms of your average sizing. And this would have been perfect for them to, give us some more seamless options. Like I was saying, I'm fine if you want jointed, but please find a way to give us both. Like, it doesn't seem like it'd be that hard. Like a swap out torso perhaps, or swap out arms. In some way, they've got to start giving us both options, because, it's kind of polarizing. Some collectors want one, some want the other. So find a way to innovate and give us both. And then in terms of the hair, I'm just not a huge fan, because in the films, like, that's such an important part of the characters, and it looks so flat on these two figures. Yeah, the painting is nice, but if they were going to, start to maybe challenge in art in terms of their rooting, you would think that maybe with braided figures, or braided hair, you could do it maybe a little bit easier. You wouldn't have to futz with it as much. So this maybe would have been a good one for them to, again, do a little bit of innovation. So yeah, overall, these figures are falling a bit flat for me, but I'm interested to see how they turn out, because I enjoyed the film. I think that it's a really cool concept. I'd love to have this representation in my collection. But yeah, just not good enough for the price point that they're offering, which I do think is fair for the scale or the size. But yeah, just not good enough for me to give them my money just yet. What do you think, Mark?
I think anybody that's used like a regular bow, it's usually around 5 to 6 feet. So it's usually about the size of your body, pretty much. The bow's definitely way too short. I mean, even when you watch a movie, it just doesn't make sense. So the bow whole situation doesn't work. It's very much it just doesn't work. Other than that, I don't mind too much. The head sculpts, it's almost like they like regurgitated like something they had from 2010. It all feels like 2010 head sculpt. You just hope they update the paint. I think if they updated the paint, it'd be a little bit better, especially with the Jake Sully sculpt. Because I was actually really excited about this stuff, but I'm not gonna buy it if it's like a let's say a Hot Toys 7 out of 10. And then I was thinking about the McFarlane, so it's one of those. It just doesn't excite me that much. You know what I mean? It's cool that they're making the figures. I hope people buy it, they like it, but for me, it's a no go. I mean, I need to see some production photos. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Ninja Squirrel says that Neytiri's blue tone is off, and looks like Vane agrees. Let me ask you guys this question. I know several of us have started picking up the McFarlane figures, and those are pretty good. Do you guys think that if you have the McFarlane figures, if these are, no, I'm not saying a necessity, but that they would fill that void in the collection, or do you think that it's important to have both? And part of why I want to ask this question is, one, they're both jointed figures, right? So there's that. And then two, I feel like in some ways these are much better than the McFarlane, but as far as I can tell, they don't have the light up effect that was present in the first film. And Dean, maybe I think you're the only one here that's seen it, but do they have the same like bioluminescence going on in the ocean, or is that just like a movie one thing? Or maybe Mark also.
The actual
bodies.
Like in the movie, their bodies glow. Like in the first film.
Most of the movie takes place like during like the day, so
it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. John? What about you? Do you recall if the first figure has those markings?
I can't remember. But to your question, I don't think the McFarlanes compare. I don't even think that you can compare. It's just with the Hot Toys, the accessories that come with it, the way the hair is done, at least with the first one that I haven't had, the way the hair is done, the feathers, the attention to detail, the base. I know it's a little bit pricier, but hey, those McFarlane ones aren't the cheapest either if you're going to end up completing the entire line.
Yeah, because if you think about it, for the Rider and the Banshee, it's $75, so $150 for both, versus just right off the back, like $670 for the collectors, not including what the Banshees would be. Might be talking $300, $400, $500 each for the Banshees. Do you think that they're that much better? And I'm just posing the question. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer.
No, I 100% think they were much better. They're much better, like without even a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
The first one's completely different. The first Jake Sully is completely different than this one.
Yeah.
But regardless, the details, I know that they're not going to skimp out on the accessories. McFarlane's nice, but look, McFarlane's nice if you're going to open it, play with it, display it, things that you're not going to necessarily do with a Hot Toy. Yeah, grab it and, but I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare it to a Hot Toy. No, I wouldn't say that the McFarlane would be a safe purchase instead of a Hot Toy, even considering the price.
So Justin's...
Are Hot Toys a safe purchase nowadays?
That is true.
Well, if you want the representation of the character, the Hot Toys I think is the better option. Is what I'm trying to say.
Do they even fit in the detail?
Just
if you take the shelf out.
Justin says, new to Hot Toys and loving it so far. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Nice.
Regarding prototypes, how far off does the final product vary from the prototype? Typically, they're pretty close, to be honest. I think with Hot Toys, I've always maintained that, before InArt, obviously, they were the best company that I knew of from proto to final in terms of what you would lose. Companies like Chronicle Collectibles, I think their standard was 20% from master to final. I think Hot Toys is probably closer to like 90%. Are we expecting Hot Toys to address these notes/concerns? Generally speaking, they have been doing it better lately, like the past 8 months or so, give or take. But I said this last episode, I would not bank on, like, if there is something critically wrong with this that's a deal breaker for you, I wouldn't pre-order expecting them to fix it.
I don't think there's enough noise around these Avatar figures for them to go
100%.
back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of like me, where it's just like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like,
so,
in terms of like, if I'm looking at a Star Wars character, I'm like nitpicking it down to like every screen detail. On these, I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty cool. You know, like I don't care enough about the franchise to really give a shit. You know?
And I feel like most people will fall in that camp where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the films, but I don't necessarily love it. Like, I don't need the most crazy accurate, expensive, high-end representation.
I mean, how long was it between the two films?
10 years.
11 years.
10 years? Yeah. Now, apparently they're ramping up and we're going to get a bunch.
yeah, they're going
one
to start
after the
rapid
other.
firing them.
So maybe that fan base will grow and you'll have a chance to really, you know, movie to movie, like start being able to like, okay, well, this is different, this and that and this. So, you know, who knows? But as right now, it's just kind of like they're so far apart that it's kind of like that fan base hasn't really gotten a chance to like really like cultivate, you know?
Jacob says the McFarlane is something I expect to get at McDonald's. I would say that's a pretty silly comment, Jacob. I think the McFarlane figures are much better than a Happy Meal toy. Yeah. Star Wars says, don't understand why Hot Toys didn't go for seamless Fison bodies on these figures. I think it depends. I think, you know, there's people that have their Ahsoka, which just released, 6 months ago. I've seen a lot of reports of people just in a normal, not even a real crazy bent arm pose, just a little bit of a bend, that have had the material split. So I wouldn't.
No.
I don't think for a kind of figure like this, I don't think it's appropriate.
And they'd have to reinvent the body, right? They'd have to go back
Wonder
and
Womans too.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Hot Toys.
Even in like the Wonder Woman, like her shoulder area, that splits, and that's not even like an articulated area.
Yeah.
Hot Toys isn't ready for seamless.
I don't think Fison is ready for seamless. Their shit tears too.
The only seamless
That
body
is
that
true.
I've seen that is of any interest would be the one from Iconic, the Ryu.
Mm-hmm. I love Iconic. I love Andy, but I would need to see like an impartial test where that body is.
Well, I haven't heard of any issues yet.
I got my guy with a bent arm, and I'm gonna leave it like that for you,
So
Zach, until it tears.
I haven't seen anybody complain. I've seen people.
I haven't seen anyone complain either. I want to put that out there. I have
Hot
not
Toys
seen
Wonder
anyone
Woman and Venom was 2 days, 2 weeks.
Venom was like 2 hours.
Yeah, so.
I will say when Andy came on OFAC and this show as well on Collecting Weekly, he was talking about how they've designed the body, the musculature to hopefully not have those issues.
And I hope that
So
that
only
is the
time will
case,
tell.
100%.
Yeah, we shall see.
I think if any company is gonna nail it, I think that company is the company to do it because, the way that Andy goes about these things, he's a collector first, very down to earth guy, one of the best YouTubers, best people you could ever meet. I think they're going to get it right. But I've had bad experiences personally with Fison. I've had bad experiences personally with friends that I know that have had Hot Toys bodies. And I still don't understand how, like, my Kenner Han Solo from, like, 20 years ago in an attic for 20 years with the arm bent and that shit still hasn't broken. I don't understand it. Makes no goddamn sense.
Sam says it right. Barbie's had it down in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand how those things don't
crazy.
break. My kid... she has the Han Solo from the Carbonite set, right? And that was mine when I was a kid. And she takes it in the bath and plays with it. And I don't understand how this body hasn't been destroyed. Let's shift gears just a bit. Neon Tech Gantry released. I will be 100% honest. Maybe I'm getting soft, but I feel like something about this has grown on me.
No.
And I'll take it one step further. I'll take it. Well, no, I'm not gonna buy this one. But you know what's really tempting me, Dean? The what is it called? The holographic, the Listerine armor. I looked at what that figure comes with, and it comes with like all the Mark 50 weapons. It comes with a ton of shit. If that goes bargain bin, shout out to Margo. That may be a pickup.
Zach, just get the battle damage 85. Skip that freaking Listerine.
Oh,
it doesn't look good
How
in
about
person.
we
It
skip
doesn't look good.
all Iron Man figures for now? Because it's so, like, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Over it.
Yeah.
He's been dead for a while. I mean, time to just
like
let him out to sea.
These are just so uninspired, but there are the collectors out there who love these guys, obviously, or they wouldn't keep making them. As much as we on the panel like kind of are just like meh, obviously there's still a market for these fucking things. So
artistically, yeah, it's nice, but the collector that's going to go after this is the completionist, who has all the marks, who has the disposable funds.
Yeah,
of course, this would display well next to the original gantry as well. I think it'd make a nice display piece. But come on, let's just move on.
When I see this stuff, I feel like soccer in the United States. You know what I mean? I just don't. I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Wow, great analogy, Mark. This reminds me of like something that you'd get at McDonald's. I think.
Jesus Christ!
Wow. No,
what McDonald's are y'all going to? Send me the link. Right? I'll go to that McDonald's.
Right? No, this I want to find redeeming qualities in it because it is cool that they did a gantry at the very least, but it's just so unexciting that I just cannot imagine, that it lives up to the price point.
I like Tron. That's why. That's the only reason why. This
figure
that's a
good point,
out,
actually.
Wonder Woman 84, and I gotta be honest, her portrait looks terrible to me. It just looks like she let one out and just kind of has a little bit of a smirk. I don't like it. I think I've seen better Gal Gadot portraits. There's something about like this part right here that just maybe top
the
bridge
bridge
like half of the nose down.
Yeah, exactly. It's there's something about it I can't put my finger on, but I want to say I saw this on OSR. I don't know if this is true. I didn't do my homework. This I think was close to being the third longest Hot Toys production, from pre-order to release, which is crazy.
Wonder Woman 84?
Supposedly.
Wow.
Supposedly, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember when they showed this, the prototype was incredible. I was like, yo, I'm just buying that head sculpt. Like, I'm good because I have the BVS. And her outfit doesn't really change that much from movie to movie. So I was like, yo, I'll just get this head sculpt and call it a day. This is not as good as the prototype. Usually there's a little bit of loss, but it's a lot this time. So I'm a little disappointed, but I mean, I guess as a whole, it's pretty good. But yeah, Wonder Woman, like she just has issues with her elbows, her shoulders, her knees. Yeah, so I don't know.
I think the hair was really well done here.
That's true.
It's beautiful.
I think this is an example of where the hair was executed.
That's why I wanted it, because I was like, dude, the hair looks cool. I don't have to futz with it, because the BVS one, you gotta put conditioner and shit, and comb it, and tell her lullabies. It's like, god damn.
It falls beautifully. I think the anatomy of the body, I think they did fantastic on the body. And besides the seam, I'm just worried about the seamless body. For me, if I'm gonna pick this up, the pose on the right, that's how I would pose her. Straight arms, a little bit of a walking stance with the legs. It's in a safe pose, museum pose. No stress on the body, and I think it captures the look very well.
Yeah, this is one that initially I was really hyped for. I was like, this will be my Wonder Woman representation. I thought the prototype looked great. I liked that they went with sculpted hair instead of the rooted. And then the golden armor came out, and everyone lost their mind because it looked so bad. But then we saw other pictures, and it actually looked kind of really good in certain lights. And so I ended up, taking the plunge on the golden armor Wonder Woman, and I think it's a beautiful piece, honestly. So I'm kind of feeling that I don't necessarily need this one because it didn't come out yet. Now we don't have all the data yet, but from what I've seen, it didn't come out like amazing. So I've got my Wonder Woman representation. We know InArt's also going to be doing a Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. Yeah, I've heard it both ways. So we know that they're going to be doing that. So it's almost like you could potentially hold out for, kind of to see what's going to happen. Also, this one is like a high bargain bin candidate potential at this point because, like we talked about, the whole universe is getting rebooted. So it really doesn't feel like I need to rush out to go get this one right now. could, end up at a really big discount if I really, really want it later, or just wait to see what InArt does. But, overall, like, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I like the outfit. I like how the hair lays. The sculpt isn't 100% there, but again, I want to see some more pictures before I really determine. And yeah, I like the seamless body. So a lot of redeeming qualities. It's at a pretty good price, but there's just a lot of variables. So I think I'm just going to stay put for now. What do you think, Mark?
Thank you, Marco, by the way. A lot of what Marco said, when I saw this, I thought this was like a new release because the 1984 one, like the promo photos they showed before, it showed a lot of like sculpted like ugliness. And then this one has that like, it's like the little bit of the duck face, Instagram photo with the shadows. So I'm like, oh, she looks really good. You know what I mean? Oh. So I go on Sideshow and then I'm like, oh, no, that's the same figure. So I'm one of those people where I'm like, I need to see this come out in person because you're not going to be able to articulate the head, which I'm not an articulate the head person no matter what. But, if she's a statue, I need to know she looks good as a statue, so I'm going to need to see this in hand. I mean, I would love to have this Wonder Woman, I'm a big Margot Robbie fan. I would love to have her.
What?
But all
what
I mean,
what fan?
Let's be honest.
Daddy, chill.
What did you say?
You said Margot Robbie.
Oh my god. Okay, next.
You
lost all credibility.
Gal Gadot,
you lost all credibility.
Gal Gadot. We had this discussion for like 4 years. I'm sorry.
No, but you're right. I think
Gal Gadot,
because
she's
photos
got perfect skin.
Photos, depending on the lighting, depending on the the photographer. Some figures look great. Some figures look like ass. But until you get it in hand or see one in hand,
go on Sideshow and look.
Yeah.
Go on Sideshow.
Really
go on Sideshow and look at the pictures of this figure, and you're like, okay, well, that's not the picture that I was just looking at. So this is one of those. You wait till you see it comes out, but I just hope it's not one of those that goes to wait list, and because a lot of her figures are really expensive, like a lot of the rooted hairs that look like shit. No offense, I'm sorry if that messes up YouTube, but they're like over $300, and it's like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I mean? I mean, like, listen, we're all dirty dogs, but come on, $300 for that ugly rooted hair figure? No.
Oh my
sorry,
sweet angel. Let's move on here. So we are not technically sponsored by 16kit, but if you make a purchase on their website 16kit.com using code CW10, again CW10, you get $10 off your next purchase. I think you can only use that once, but hey, you put a 10 in your pocket.
Nice.
And we don't get any kickback for that, so use it or you don't lose it, but just use it. Marco, we have a little bit of a high-level update on the NECA situation from last week, and also one of our listeners had reached out, and we're kind of curating how we want to tell that story. We got a lot of information. We kind of got to size it down to like a bite-sized chunk, and so next week we'll be talking more in depth about that situation. But we've had a lot of people reach out. Some people have said they don't want us to go public with their situation, but they wanted to kind of show some support that they've also experienced some stuff with NECA. And then other people that have, reached out with some photographs and it seems like this has gotten quite a bit of traction within the community. But Marco, some updates. Let's hear them.
Yeah, so I just will say the more stories that we hear, the more disheartening it is that, this company maybe doesn't necessarily have the best customer service as we suspected. So it seems like they're just really not the best to deal with if you have to go down that route. For me, I will give an update next week in terms of, where we're at. There's some things that are pending. My credit card company determined that the item didn't come as, I purchased it. So they did a chargeback. The issue is that I went through PayPal. And so there's this intermediary. And so now PayPal is kind of giving me a hard time. I am learning, actually. I think it must have happened during the pandemic. A lot of companies' customer service has really gone down. You can't really get people on the phone. They've really, cut back, it's seeming, because it took forever to get someone from PayPal on the phone. And so, they're still pending their investigation, but trying to work with them so they can, take action against NECA if ultimately that's what they decide. So more to come on that, and we will share again those stories from fellow collectors who have not had the best experiences. So appreciate everyone sharing those with us. And and Badfish, no more NECA.
Hashtag no more
Hashtag
NECA.
no more NECA.
Shame on NECA. All this work for whatever.
What should be a 2-second phone call, right? You cannot believe it. Vintage says, I could fix that box so you would never know it was damaged, but I know that's not our responsibility. Yeah, 100%.
Hey, there you go. Though. I would love to hear some pointers, but yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be our responsibility. It should.
I get Jacob. Look, listen. Let's be real. I'm gonna say this. I get Jacob's comment. All that for a slight fold. Yeah, that's fine. It's a slight fold. Sure. Is it small? Okay. But when it's a collector's box, you're purchasing it for the display purposes, right? If Sideshow, a company like Sideshow, you're purchasing items on Sideshow Seconds with box damage, they're giving you 15% off. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's all I would have taken.
No doubt.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Let's be real here. Sorry, Marco. Let's be real. If Marco wanted to be an asshole, right, he could have got that box and banged the shit out of it. Right? He could have banged the crap out of it and given himself a story to get the replacement. No, instead, he was honest. He went to them and said, hey, this box is nicked. Can you do anything? Right? So, right, if he tore that box or say, hey, this was damaged in shipping, they'd have no choice to.
No
it's
doubt.
like, come on here.
Yeah, and I don't want us to relitigate this, right? Because, I think we laid it out perfectly. So, Jacob, I would encourage you or any other listeners to go watch the, full segment about NECA. I think we laid out all the variables. Like I said, I don't want to come across as entitled. I know a lot of folks will not think this is a big issue, but this is something that, it was kind of a shame the way that it's gone down so far. So, would encourage everyone else to go watch that video and make your own mind up.
Just something to ask you quickly. Do they, when you get, what's the return policy?
Final sale, no return policy.
Apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Okay. So even if, what does final sale mean? If you get it and it's beat to shit, then I guess that's it.
Yeah,
so.
Okay.
Jacob says, is it really NECA's fault? I mean, maybe the people who shipped it, maybe dented it. And you can always play that game, right? But at the end of the day, it's their job to get that collectible from point A to point B in a good shape. And if they didn't package it correctly, which I don't recall the exact circumstances of the packaging, then, that's 100% on NECA. And then it's also important to point out, and we had a comment about this today. Someone had commented on the video like, well, this is kind of pointless unless you plan on displaying it in the box, to which I would say Marco was planning to do that. Yeah. And that they do upcharge specifically for this packaging. So
and
Dante, quickly,
can I also quickly add, I'm sorry, can I because me and Dean did a deal where we're trading figures or items, and he said I'm gonna add insurance because I don't want it to be an issue. I want to make sure that you're covered. And that's between friends. This is a company that's supposed to build trust between people and do business back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, great point, Mark.
To sit there and say, oh, it didn't come okay? Well, you're fucked because we have other customers. That's an issue. You know
it's
what I
a
mean?
lack of communication and lack of care. Lack of care.
Yeah, it's lack of care. It's like we understand. It's
at the risk of relitigating it, like we said in last week's episode and again in the clip, I mean, the fact that they just hung up on Marco and then refused to take any more of his calls twice is to me so far beyond what any company.
It's a tough nut to swallow.
What Dante said.
Dante's Boneyard says Sideshow wouldn't do anything for the damaged art box for the Vader I purchased from them.
Wow,
I
what
wish
a
I
hijack.
had the emails to show you their comments, which is crazy because Sideshow usually has really great customer service. That's usually really surprising.
Sideshow Seconds is damaged boxes. End of story. So
with Sideshow,
I'd be curious to find out how long ago that was.
Yeah, with Sideshow you can always escalate it. I would 100% escalate that. Let's speaking of Sideshow, let's look at their website. They updated it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let me
Why do you have so many notifications? What the fuck?
I don't know. They fucking message me every day. Some stupid shit.
I think it's okay.
Do I have no? I don't have. Oh, I'm not signed in.
I don't know. I don't want to look at my notifications, but
a lot of
I have notifications too. Okay.
It's your last chance for 6 months on the same thing.
They redid their website, and admittedly they said we're still kind of a work in progress. So I don't want to be too critical because it is a work in progress, and I've also never made a website, and my website probably look worse than this. But I just wanted to browse a few things on their website, just kind of see what it looks like. Star Wars Universe says Hot Toys needs to improve its QC on art boxes. Getting sick of having to worry whether or not I'm getting with dents and creases. Just happened to me again with Luke. So going down, you can see some different brands, some things to collect. The one thing that I always found difficult, which I love this right here. It used to be hard for me to find Sideshow Seconds on their website. So it looks like you can just click into Seconds, which is great. But the thing that I think I don't like, so let's just look at Hot Toys. So that's not too bad. So this
and
is
then
kind
it
of
goes
similar.
back to their base website, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
don't
what they already
understand that.
had.
But let's look at Jake Sully. And the thing I don't like is that instead of one photo that you could click to scroll through, which you can still do, it seems like you have like this huge thing and you have to expand boxes. And I've heard some people say on mobile it's a bit cumbersome. Not only that, but you get all these different pop-ups and things. And I just feel like it doesn't, like even now, like as we're on this website, it's kind of like expanded itself all weird. It seems like it needs a bit of shaping. Yeah. I don't love it. But I will say it's not terrible. It's not great. It's so. Definitely not having an organism on my pants about this. But
Wrong company, buddy. So-so's third party.
Wow.
There you go.
It's the first day the damn site's up. It's been 4 hours.
Well, we had nothing to talk about. I had to add this in to fill time. We'd be doing a 45-minute show if we didn't talk
So
about
can
this.
anyone like identify things that were wrong with their site before minus a search? Because I honestly thought it was a strong website. Like they had
What is
all the
this?
pieces in place.
It says
It's just-
Q1653. What does that even mean? Is that greenbacks?
Wow.
I don't know what that is, what currency that is, but there's that. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I guess sometimes
It wasn't inviting.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun. It didn't have that look. It was... You had to go to what's new on the top bar because I use Sideshow to do my show on Fridays, right? So it was a pain to get to like the what's new page sometimes.
Does this seem like a big improvement though?
It seems better organized, yeah. Zach's point to the Sideshow Seconds is better, definitely.
It is 100% better. It always used to take me forever to figure out how to do that. I'll admit, I think it was a bit harsh in the beginning of the show. I don't think it's terrible. I just think that they need to fix how these things expand because it used to be very clean. You know, when you go on a page, all this information would be pre-expanded and it would look really clean. I don't know that I need to see 15 photos, and they're not even really showing you all the photos, right? Because you have to still expand to see those photos. I don't know. There's something about it that feels a bit unnecessary to me.
Yeah, the photo. Yeah,
and I know if you're watching,
boxes aren't sized for the correct like aspect ratio.
Yeah. And I know if you're listening, this probably isn't a very exciting segment, but I encourage you to go look at it and see what you think about it. But I like this. You can see their offers and free shipping pretty easily. Before you'd have to go to what's new or look at their things, and then you'd have to filter through the
what
current
ships
deals.
Now.
That's not a bad deal, 20%.
You have money burning in your pocket.
Yeah. That's interesting. Let's go back here. So we did NECA, we did Sideshow. Let's look at our next slide here. So IKEA, I don't know if this was today, but this was the first that I've seen it. The price of the DTOF went up to $109.99.
Damn, it's like double.
And
Almost.
I want to say I bought mine pretty late during COVID, right before I moved. And I want to say they were $69.99, and I thought that was pretty expensive. So an extra $50 on top of that.
Yeah, I think they used to be.
They were $59.99.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and I remember at that time that was already after a few price increases, and I wanted to put forth a few of my own recommendations. Maybe you guys have some as well of different cases that collectors could buy. And I'm not going to go into the Magicase stuff because, I don't think that that's for everyone. And I also want to show off things that, if you want a DTOF, you can, get a DTOF and have it by the end of the week, one way or another. So I'm not really talking about things that are, 4 or 6 to a year down the line. But I really like the Target bookshelves. Dean has a few behind him that used to be mine. They're $37 a piece. They come in at 24.5 inches wide, 71 inches tall, and almost 12 inches deep. I really like these when I had them. They build well. They're easy to light. They come in black and white, and I think brown, if I'm not mistaken. And for $37 a pop, you can basically pick up, 3 of them for the price of one DTOF. And each of these is about a DTOF and a half width and 10 inches taller. So you're able to display quite a bit more figure for the money. And then they also have more shelves, so you can put things on the top of the shelf, and then you have 5 shelves to fill out. So I recommend those. Those are really good. And that price is $37. I want to say when I bought them 2 years ago, they were $35. So not a huge price increase there. Walmart does have bookshelves as well, but they're a little bit more expensive. So I decided to leave them off. I think at that price point, you kind of start to think like, do I just get a DTOF at that price point? These are also really neat. They're the Edsel 4-tier heavy duty garage shelves. That is actually what I have for my Lord of the Rings collectibles right there, in gray rather than black. These are $98. And the reason why I included them, even though that price is almost the price of a DTOF, is they're basically 2 DTOFs wide, and I want to say like 4 to 6 inches deeper than a DTOF. And they're about as tall, with one less shelf. So I think this is a good option too. If you collect statues, a lot of the statue guys will use these, and you can orient them where you have a 72-inch wide display, and you just have the 1-2 shelves. And these work out really good. In fact, I'm considering switching some of my other shelving to at least one other garage shelf. But these are really great options for collectors. And I'm curious if you guys have any recommendations or anything else you suggest, or if you're sticking by the tried and true DTOF at $109.
I really like QB shelves. You could get them at like Target, Walmart, anywhere that sells fucking shelves. You could get. They're just cube shelves, 3x3, 4x3, any kind. And I just put little figures in each one and do little displays. It's fun. It's open air, but it's fine.
Yeah, on that, if you don't really care about them being behind glass, I do like the floating shelf look. Like that's always, you can elevate them up high, and so it makes them look a little bit more pronounced in the room. And I really like the Billy bookcases, although I know those have seen an increase just like the DTOFs, right? So you're kind of in a similar boat where it's a pretty expensive option at this point. But still, I mean, if you go on Amazon or Wayfair or some of those other, furniture retailers or Target or Walmart, very expensive. Like these things are not cheap. So I think the DTOF still remains kind of for the look of it, it's still a semi-affordable option compared to, how expensive display cases are overall.
DTOFs are, sorry, Mark. DTOFs are, in Canada, Badfish was saying $140 a pop. I sold mine last year during, I think right after COVID, like $50. Can you imagine that? Idiot. But why are you buying them from IKEA? Check out your local Facebook marketplace or whatever else you guys have there locally. You can get a good deal on them.
Yeah, except now when people are paying $100 for them, they're going to try and sell them for $100.
Yeah, problem is that's the problem with the internet.
Goes
but
all around, yeah.
Real quick, I don't know how many of you guys, because it's weird, because I work in construction, so it's a little bit different, because I've been kind of milling a little bit of my own wood. And I've been doing a little bit of polyurethane.
You can't do that too often, Mark. You got to be careful with that.
I know a lot of people can't do it, but the actual price of lumber in general is coming down. So if you ever thought about building your own wood shelves or your own floating shelves, the price of lumber is coming down compared to everything else, because that was the first thing that jacked up. That's starting to come down because people aren't going to be building houses, because in the United States, interest rates are super high. People aren't buying houses. So in a couple of months, the price of lumber is going to be coming down. So as long as you don't mind milling your own lumber, because really the problem is with collectors like us, a lot of stuff doesn't fit in 11.5-inch shelves. If we're being honest here, if you collect quarter scale or just anything, any display, a lot of stuff, anything over 1/6, it doesn't fit in that 11.5-inch shelf. So soon you're going to be wanting that, that 16-inch, 24-inch shelf, and you can't just some people, they back up shelves to other shelves. At some point, it just becomes a cheap look. You want to curate your stuff. Soon, you're going to be able to get a 24-inch milled lumber, at least an inch thick. Once it's an inch thick, it'll be able to hold a quarter scale statue of any sort or anything like that. So that's what I'm working on right now. I have a bunch of lumber that I milled, and then I'm working on urethaning it, and I haven't figured out the scale like up and down yet. So hopefully, I'll be able to show people, something with a price range of telling you what you're going to be able to pay. Because right now the thing was when shelves were $60, it was cool. Now it's $150. People don't have price. People don't. It's too much for something that was supposed to be cheap.
Bro, people are paying $9 for eggs, man. People are paying.
Yeah, it's disgusting, and it just sucks, man.
There's no options. There's no options. That's the problem.
All right, that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
It's not a court. We're not in court, man.
Hear what they say, boys. One inch thick is all you need.
The witness is off the stand.
We're in from 3 to 1 now. Okay, that's all you got.
Hey, man. Fucking work with what I got, Marco.
There you go.
Let's change gears here just a bit. Childhood Grails. Now, we've kind of touched on this, I don't know when, but this discussion seems vaguely familiar. But I thought it'd be fun to revisit this, especially on After Dark last week. I talked about how I had owned, thanks to Dean, reacquired rather, one of my Grails. And so I had the boys put together some photos here, and we'll chat about them. So these are my Grails. So starting with the Dragon Ball Z movie collection, Super Saiyan Goku Battle Damaged. This was the first figure I ever hunted. Like I went to like Toys R Us and I could never find this thing. I went all over, as far as my parents would take me to find it. Never did. And I remember this was back when Toys R Us and like KB Toys would send out like the catalogs, right? And this was like right when this figure came out, it made the catalog. And I was over the moon. I needed to have this, and I never did. A Megazord from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There was many of these that were out there, a lot of different versions. I never had one. I had the Eagle Megazord, and I want to say that's all I had. But I've always wanted to own a high quality one. There's been a few since I've been an adult, but none that really like the Chogokin one was pretty good, but it just had a lot of flaws that it would develop because it's all die cast and the joints suck. Ugh, yuck, terrible. Don't want to deal with that.
Especially for the price.
Base set Charizard. I mentioned this on After Dark, but thanks to Dean, I have my first and only one that I have back in the collection. So I've achieved that childhood grail. And this X-Wing. Now, when I was younger, we used to live on base, and you would go to like the base exchange. It's like a Target, Walmart type store on the military base. And I remember as a kid, they always had a lot of really nice, like a wonderful toy section. It's not Toys R Us, but lots of Power of the Force. And I remember every time we went, they had these on the bottom shelf, and they had that try me feature, right? And I would just go there and just play with it, 5-10 minutes. My parents would go shopping.
Sometimes
and then
that's all it takes,
Hey, man. And I always wanted this thing. Always. And I would ask them, and, at that time, it just wasn't possible. And I remember, I want to say it was Rainer, had one. And I bought it from him. It was a great deal. And I had it in my collection in the box for a long time. And John, I don't know if you ever feel like this, because I know you do collect in box a lot, but I couldn't bring myself to open it.
Yeah.
Not because I was worried about devaluing it or the collectability of it, but I always had this idea in my head of what this ship was and like what it could be. And I felt like if I opened it and it didn't meet or exceed that memory in my mind, that image in my mind, that I would have felt let down by it, or like tainted by that memory. And so Seth, good friend of the show, one of our original 6 hosts, love that guy. His son came over, and Seth and I, we're both about the same age. We both have kids. We always, like, he'll give things to my daughter, and I'll give things to his daughter and his son. And he was admiring it, and I said, you know what, just take it. Like, you can have it, because I don't want to open it. Like, to me, I had it, I enjoyed it, I accomplished the goal of owning it, but I could never bring myself to open it. And I knew it would eat me away, and I gave it to him, and he loves that thing. He apparently plays with it all the time. But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't open it because I just felt like it wasn't going to live up to my expectations. Is that anything ever you deal with, John, or you just mostly just want to keep things safe in the box?
No, yeah. For me, it's just safe in the box.
Gotcha.
Because I never did that as a kid. I always opened everything as a kid, and then it was more to just protect it.
Gotcha. So this is Dean's list here, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. So one of the coolest things was always the Imperial shuttle from Star Wars. I always wanted one of these things. And I don't think they reissued it until like 2002 or something. It was either you had the original one or you had to wait until 2002. Yeah, beautiful ship.
Whoa.
And yeah, I think, man, it's been a few years now, but this ship is crazy expensive.
That's a flex right there.
Dude, this thing's huge, man.
Yeah, they're so cool. And they're wildly expensive, especially, as a little kid growing up.
Oh my
you
God.
don't have the money.
Yeah,
that's what sound it makes.
It's Pose Wars all over again.
Jesus Christ.
I was just on Facebook Marketplace one day, and there was one popped up for like some stupid cheap deal. It was like really cheap, and it was the original I believe it's 85 complete, which you never find them complete. It's always missing the side panel or the cockpit door or a little ladder comes down from the bottom. Yeah. It's always missing something. This one was complete, and I was like, damn, I really want this, but I don't really have the money. And our good friend Sean Fear, Watto Scrapyard, he was like, bro, I'll pay for half of it if you send me the parts that I could 3D scan, and I could sell those parts to people who need them, because it's always missing shit when you find them. Mm-hmm. So I was like, done. So I actually do own this now. Finally, I got I think I paid like $50 out of pocket or something. It was
awesome.
Was like, it was like dirt cheap, like what I ended up paying for it. So
just to correct, you have the shuttle or the walker?
The shuttle.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize you had this. Shuttle. Nice.
Yeah.
I remember the story. Yeah.
Okay. And real quick, if you get the Power of the Force one, it's the same exact sculpt, so it literally still has the 1984 emblem on it because it's the same mold.
Oh,
but
nice.
It just doesn't have the sound effects, which is the opposite of what the Millennium Falcon has. Because if you have the newer, like the Power of the Force Millennium Falcon, it has sound effects. The other one didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So mine's it's a little jank. It's old. Like the wings make that really awful noise.
Awful clicking
way
sound.
Worse.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to like reset the top fin because it doesn't sit particularly well. It's a little jank, but it's original. I've always wanted one. I finally have it, so I'm really happy with that. And then the Imperial Walker.
Absolute banger.
Was so cool. Every time I would go to Toys R Us, I wanted one. And they were, back then, not cheap.
I want to say they were like $100.
Yeah, they were like $109.99. I remember that very vividly because my mom was like, "No."
Yeah, Pops told me, "Ain't no way." Sorry, bro.
Yeah, and I asked for it all the time. I wanted one so bad. And I remember one time my brother, he's much older than me, he bought a car cheaper than one of these. And I was like, What? I was like so devastated because I was like, he bought a whole car and I still can't buy this AT-AT. And it like, I was so devastated. Fast forward, I'm like 24 or something. I still never owned one. And my mom found one at like a Goodwill or something. And of course, it was like missing stuff. But it was so sweet that she remembered how bad I wanted one. She surprised me with it. And it was so cute. I still have it. But I did buy the legacy version to make up for the fact that I never got one as a kid. So I have like my ultimate AT-AT up here. I have it like fully like stocked with snow troopers and stuff.
Is that the really tall one?
It's it's huge.
Oh yeah,
it's like the size of a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
It's massive.
When you say a dog, it's the size of a Great Dane. I sold that to my buddy. Yeah,
twice the size as the Kenner one. It's huge.
It's amazing. And it has that really loud sound. Like Zach has a big Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
You know how the audio is on that? It's like the thing is, it's like speaker loud.
Yeah, it's like
crazy.
surround sound. AT-AT. It's so cool. I love that.
The big Millennium Falcon, such a
and then my last Grail, and I still do not own this, and it's the SDF one from Matchbox from Robotech. It's like the big ship everyone lives on, and it like has 3 different like transforming modes. It's so cool. And it's like that's what it looks like in the show. Like it doesn't really do anything cool. It just kind of transforms and like its arms come up. Like it's like what you see is what you get. Like the show doesn't do anything that the toy doesn't. So this toy is still like the largest scale you could buy of this toy, and they are expensive now. And I still don't own it. So that should tell you how much these things are going for. I bought a Chigoken cheaper than one of these things. So the ones that are available are either missing a bunch of stuff, like some of the arms and stuff. So I'm still on the hunt for one.
Wow.
I don't own this. It bums me out because I really want an SDF one. But yeah, I never owned it. So
what's up, Pepe?
I think he means pee-pee.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'll keep it nice and short and sweet. When I was a kid, these 2 babies here. Tooth Fairy brought me the Kenner Batman Forever Batmobile. And I still have it, but it's incomplete. I am on the hunt for another one. I want one.
Tooth Fairy brings toys in Canada? Damn.
Yeah, man, we do it right here. It's cheap.
Wow.
Cheap Tooth Fairies over there. So yeah, this was a tooth. I woke up and this was on my dresser.
It was under his pillow. He had a crink in his neck.
It was on my dresser. And then for Christmas one year, the Home Alone 2 Talk Boy. Oh, this was a hoot to play with, man. Start walking around the house, recording everything, and playing it back just like in the movie.
It was the precursor to to your shows.
To streaming.
Yeah, it was really funny because real quick with that toy, it had like that you could replay yourself back, or like you could replay yourself back with dead batteries. So it didn't do what the show did, but when you were a kid, man, that was a really cool toy.
Yeah.
I remember that being a really awesome toy.
I'd love to find both these again somewhere in the wild. We'll see. But that's it. Short and sweet. I don't remember too many toys as a kid, to be frank. I know I had a crap ton, but I think it was more like, Barney and those,
Well, don't be Frank. Be John with us. Come on, baby. Come on.
There you go.
Like, not all this nerdy, dorky thing. Like, I collect the Pokemon cards too, but look, what the fuck is that? Megazord?
There you go. No, man. John, you kept it short and sweet. It's a slow news day. I'm going to keep it long. I've got I got another one on top of this if we have time. I will say this Megazord. I remember lining up at Toys R Us with my parents, with my cousins, and my aunts and uncles, and my friends and their parents.
They all fit in one car.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We all went in one Honda Civic, but so get to the front of the line, and they had the Megazord, and my dad was like, "Pick 2 things that you want." I was like, "Okay, I want the Megazord for sure." He's like, "No chance. You're gonna just get the Ranger." So I think I ended up with like the Black Ranger and maybe the Red Ranger. No Megazord. Refused to get me this, but was always a Grail. Like, man, I want that Megazord so bad. So yeah, I never owned it. So it's just one that will just be left.
Oh, you never owned it?
Have. Never did. Yeah, I know. I had a lot of things as a kid, but that was not one of them. And then obviously the Turtles van, that is one that, desperately wanted. I think my parents had a thing against like the larger scale. Like they'd buy a bunch of the smaller scale, but larger just felt like too ridiculous, I think. So that was shut down immediately. But I think they found one at a garage sale. And so ultimately I ended up getting the Turtles van, which I was stoked about. Half the stickers were missing, but it's cool. I was going to beat it to shit anyways. And then this Batman playset, which they reissued sorry, John, he's on mute already. Reissued 20 times. So I wanted the animated series version. Again, parents were like, no, but they found the 89 Batman version, at, I don't know, flea market or garage sale, brought it to me. I was a little bit annoyed though, because I was like, I want the animated series version. It's the same shit. But,
it's the same, with different stickers. Yeah, I was
there
gonna
you
say,
go, exactly.
I remember.
It doesn't really fit my guys, but whatever. I was happy to have it. And then this Charizard, I just remember ripping packs, right? Just ripping. Everyone wanted this Charizard. Never ever got one. Desperately wanted one. So I think that ship has sailed given the resale value and the prices on those. And then one more, if I just could share this story and share my screen really quick, Zach. Let me put this here. Hey John, story time. You gave me. So
I gave you time.
And I haven't seen a picture of this since I owned it. It looks not great. But
Oh,
in my
it's the
mind,
12-inch
it was
figures.
so this was the 12-inch. This was Hoth Luke with the Tauntaun there, and this was I remember going with my parents. This is one that my dad must have just wanted us to have. Going to a bunch of different stores, couldn't find it anywhere, and then in a shopping cart there was a billion things piled on, and I was like, I think I see one in there. Underneath a pile of toys, there was one. The box was beat to shit, but we didn't care. I think he might have even gotten a discount because the box was damaged. And then
like father, like son.
Yeah, that's right. That's
go.
right.
Yeah,
the
bargain
birth
bin,
of a
baby.
bargain bin. That's right.
That's the birth
of a bargain bin, bro. And so this one I was just so stoked to have because I don't think I had many at this scale, but it was just such a amazing set. So yeah, that was definitely a grail. So a lot of good memories kind of going through these. Great idea, Zach.
Just briefly, I remember as a kid, for Christmas, I want to say I was 7, 8, I got the Pilot Luke Kenner 12-inch. That shit was a banger, bro.
Nice.
That was the all-time figure.
Dude.
Yeah, I remember thinking that was the best we're ever gonna get. There's no way they're gonna get any better
little
than this.
orange visor came down, if I remember correctly.
It did.
Now that you said
It clicked
that,
down.
Innovation.
I wanted the 12-inch Kenner Boba Fett so bad. And my dad took me to go find it at an Albertsons, and
shout
it
out.
had been there forever. And the day he was finally all right, let's go get it, it wasn't there.
Oh no,
It's always how it is.
And that was the very first 6-scale figure I bought when I started collecting 6-scale was
And I
Boba
think
Fett because I never owned that one.
And I think they had rooted Wookiee braids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was
that
cool.
Shit wasn't plastic. That part was.
It was
legit.
a cool figure.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I rectified that with the sideshow one.
Is this it, Dean, or am I? This looks worse than I remember it. Is this the one that I'm
Oh
thinking?
yeah, that's it. They
that's
are
it.
janky
That's
as
it.
hell.
Oh my god!
Oh, put the helmet on.
I may
Come
have to
on.
buy this for $25. That might be.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. Those things
I
are
think I
cheap
actually still.
as shit.
I think I still got that. I could throw that in your pile of loot.
Mark,
back.
I need to see these photos that you promised me. Mark, send me these damn
Oh
photos
yeah, I'm
tonight.
sorry.
These are Mark's Grails.
Okay, real quick. Okay, so this first photo. Now I have the original Megazord and Dragonzord, but I don't have the original Titanus complete. And if anybody that watched Power Rangers, when they did this combination in the show, they just showed you the toy. It wasn't part of the actual show. It was literally they would show you the toy. So for the longest time, I wanted to complete this set, but I had only ever gotten the Megazord when I was a kid, and then we had a dog, and then the dog fucking ate the head.
Oh no!
On the Megazord. So I had a Megazord for a year and a half, and then I got the Ninja Zord, and then I was like, that it wasn't the same after that.
Wow.
So that's my story with that, because I'm young enough to where I was almost a little bit too old to even when I watched the first episode of Power Rangers when it came out in '93, and it was already like that. I'm already supposed to act like it wasn't cool. You know what I mean? But it was cool. It was cool for 2 years. And then so the Lego pirate ship, my first Lego experience when I was oh my god, I can't believe it was my first all moment with Lego. And a kid kids would bring it to recess, like anytime somebody did show and tell, everybody fucking had a Lego set.
Don't tell me you brought this to recess.
No, we were poor. No, we couldn't. I just saw this. I never owned this. I actually bought this as an adult, and I ended up reselling it. And then I regretted reselling it because it's literally part of me was like, when I bought it as an adult, I was just part of me was like, fuck you to all those little kids. You know what I mean? You little rich kids, you fucking. I hope you overdosed. Literally, that was my thought.
What the fuck is wrong with
Dude,
you?
I held up.
Man.
I held up. I
Wow.
held
Are you the chef
big
from
time.
the menu? My God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. But anyways, it's one of those when I went to show and tell, it was like, oh, this is a rock I found. You know what I mean? That was the kind of kid I was. And then everybody else is like, oh, look, I got a fucking pony.
Mark was bringing a 4x4 to
Gibbs
school.
comment was so good, bro.
Yeah, but whatever. But no, this is my intro to Lego, even though I could never own it. The one thing I did own, they had a little it was a abandoned island with a rowboat, and that was my favorite Lego set growing up as a kid, and I took very good care of that. That sat on top of the TV. You know what I mean? Whatever. The third photo is probably probably way too young to see this. It's the USS Flag. I had a neighbor across the street who had a dad that was a truck driver. And I mean, it was one of those guys, you never saw the dude. Now, I don't know what he was doing on his own time. I don't know if he was really a truck driver, but he would buy his kids gifts, to bring him love. Well, the kid had a USS Flag. I don't know if anybody else that knows GI Joes or knows the US Flag. This shit is it's
Isn't there a whole episode on Netflix of the toys that shaped us of this fucking thing?
Yeah. A lot of people didn't know it existed. I was like, I remember it existed. The shit was like a fucking kitchen table.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's fucking huge, absolutely huge. Took up a whole room. And the dude, I remember I'd go over his house, and I actually hated the kid. He was so fucking annoying. I hated the kid. He had so many toys, but I would go there, and he would go to sleep early, and then I'd just play with all his shit.
Jesus.
Got to do what you got to do.
But dude, this is one thing I always wanted, and it's funny because I remember when I bought the sail barge, the Java sail barge. I remember people hearing people say they traded the sail barge for the USS Flag, and I kept looking I'm okay, who wants to trade? And of course, it never happened because it sells for $4,500 complete, out of the box. I mean, it's super expensive, So it's something I'll never reach again. It's a childhood memory. I'll just let it go. You know what I mean? If they re-released it, it'd be $4,000 anyway. So I'm just gonna let it go. Now the fourth one, the Technodrome. I can't remember when this came out. It's 1990, I think. I think this came out 89 or 90. But I remember this playset. It's funny because when I saw it, when I thought about it as a kid, when I first started getting back into collecting, this is the first thing I wanted to collect, the Technodrome. I remember thinking it was huge. I was this thing is 2 or 3 feet tall. You know what I mean? I remember it having all kinds of accessories, all kinds of different things. It didn't do it. None of the stuff that I thought it did, it didn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah,
because
because
I was so young that it was my imagination. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was literally my favorite playset. I never had the sewer playset. I knew somebody else that knew it, but
Mark.
Okay, but that's my 4.
You are a national
Dean,
treasure.
I'm sorry. I love you guys.
John,
Marco.
Marco.
Mark so much.
And Mark, do you want to do hot seat tonight? It's up to you.
Yeah. If you
Sure.
don't mind.
Perfect.
We should put this timer on every time Mark talks. So
I'm sorry.
At some
Give
point,
me a
I'm going to
10-second
add,
timer.
mostly for Lane, to be honest, but I want to add the Oscars music, the wind it up music.
No, Mark, I love
you,
bro.
Lane. Anyway, so 1 minute on the clock. I have the same question for all of you. And whomever wants to go first can. Whomever. It's a 3-part question. And whoever's fucking typing, put your phone on mute. 1, name a movie that Hot Toys has not made figures for, and name 2 characters that you would like to see Hot Toys make. So you got a point for naming a movie, and you get 1 point each for 2 figures. All right, Dean, you said it's easy. I'm going to put you in the hot seat first.
Has to be a movie. It can't be anything else, any other property.
Yeah, it could be a show. I'll give you a show.
Okay, that's easy.
Go ahead, Dean.
I would love to see The Fifth Element, Corbin Dallas, and Leeloo Dallas. 110%. That's like in my top 5 movies of all time.
No.
That's all you need.
All right, Dean with 3 points. I'm not even going to play the ding because I feel like we're going to run through this quick. John, same question to you.
I'll do TV show The Sopranos. Give me a Tony Soprano and a Paulie Walnuts, and we'll call it a day. If you could give me the whole crew, we're really talking. And then
There we go.
with Bob Dylan's custom that he posted of the Satriales, boom.
3 points for John.
I got
Easy
2 other
peasy.
movies and 2 other characters. If you want.
Okay, that's not how hot seat works. Marco, 1 minute on the clock.
Okay, I got 2. I got extra credit here. I'm going to go with Andor, and I'm going to go with Andor and Bix. I think we need those characters. And then I also desperately want some Space Jam figures, some Space Jam 1/6. I've given up that Hot Toys is going to do any sports figures, but I feel like that would just be like tangential enough where they could give us a 1/6 Bugs Bunny, all the other Warner Brothers characters. So I think that would be a really amazing
You
set
motherfucker.
there.
You almost said Bug Bunny.
Bad Bunny. Bugs Bunny. There you go.
Bug Bunny. Mark 60 seconds on the clock.
I guess I can only pick one, right? So it's a movie, no show. I'm going to pick a show. I'm going to pick Dexter as my show with the Dexter as the character and Sergeant James Stokes as the second character.
Bro,
I wish I could pick something else, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's a great.
Dude.
3
Shaun
points.
of the Dead, Shaun and Ed, Hot Fuzz, Nicholas Angel, Danny Butterman.
There you go.
There we go.
You'd be buttering.
I'll take that.
Man.
Willow and Mad Mardigan, Willow and Lou Ferrigno Hoke, Andor and Luthen, No Mommy Bix, Marco trying to put that huge basketball hoop to use.
Facts.
Paul Schreiber, I missed that Space Jam Frenzy, too old. Yeah, I thought we'd phone it in this week for...
I want to hear yours.
Oh, for me? For moi?
Yeah, why not?
I gotta think.
Yeah,
It's
Let's
hot. It's hot.
You fucking
Okay,
make fun of
here
us
we
all
go.
the
Jurassic
time.
Park.
Damn it, John, you friggin' guy. I would say 2 choices here. Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm and Dr. Grant,
I know.
or Pacific Rim. I don't...
Ooh, with their
Idra
fucking
Elbis,
suits.
and then the white gypsy suits. I forget the pilot's name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were looking for like 1/6 toilets with that Pacific.
Wow, no. Speaking of bidet, shout out to the BioEdge Eco Bidet. Hit us up for sponsorship. Yeah, I'm not used to being put on the hot seat. It got hot. I wasn't expecting. Wow.
I like Jeremy's
You
answer.
ever call-
Karate Kid, Daniel, and Mr. Miyagi. That'd be pretty cool.
love it. I
That
love
would
it.
be cool.
As Beam says, Idra Elbis. I always say that. It's like a inside joke that probably like one person will get.
Idra Elbis. I didn't even.
Is it like
pick
Buggy
that up.
Idra Elba. I always like mix it up like Idra Elba, or it's just like a thing that I just think is so funny, and I'm glad someone finally noticed it.
Yeah,
It
man,
literally,
his knuckles, you
if
feel
you
some
go
respect.
back and listen to all my mentions of Idris Elba, it's always like some random combination of
Bro.
syllables.
I would love if Hot Toys did Sonic the Hedgehog. That'd be so cool.
That would be so cool.
Because they've done Winnie the Pooh. They've done like odd
Yeah, because
characters.
Winnie the Pooh's a lovable character.
Yeah, so Sonic.
How
Holy
dare you?
cow.
Our Bluckbuster movie
Look at his
of the
little
week
face.
is The Menu. This film, penned by Will Tracy and Seth Reese, focuses on a young couple who visits an exclusive destination restaurant on a remote island where the acclaimed chef has prepared a lavish tasting menu along with some shocking surprises. I want us to be very careful with how we talk about this movie because this is a new film, and so I think we should avoid spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not done watching it.
With that being said,
Wow.
Mark, I needed to tread lightly, my friend.
If
that
no
being
spoilers, I'll shut up. I'm good.
This movie is bananas. It starts out fairly benign, right? You're watching the movie. Yeah, this guy's kind of a prick. This lady's kind of a bee. Like, you know, you kind of it's a who's who of like, you know, a little bit of everything. And you know, the island's beautiful. The first course, second course, third course gets a bit odd, and then it starts to pick up. And I didn't know anything about this movie, so
Same here.
I
And
didn't know.
That's why it's so tough to talk about this, because people should go into this not knowing anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know what genre this was. I didn't know, who was in it. I knew the menu, and I was thinking it was a different movie.
Yeah.
I was thinking of The Lobster, the movie The Lobster. And so I had no expectations. And I got to say, if I can be completely honest, guys, I want to say like the last like 2, 3, maybe 4 movie of the weeks have been some of the best movies that we've ever chosen. And this is right up there. A great movie. I don't want to say the genre because, like John said, I almost feel like it'd be ruining it. But it is such a twisty film, such a clever film. You know, it's. I feel like that's all I can say. But I think the acting was fantastic. I think the casting was interesting. I think everyone worked, but I think there was maybe too many. It's like a ensemble who's who cast. I think
too many characters. Maybe
this movie would have been better with you know a little bit more unknown. Granted, everyone did amazing in their roles. I enjoyed it. It was one of those films that makes you think. It's one of those films that I do have a lot of questions on, and I can't bring it up. I can't bring them up because there are spoilers. And S-Beam says the mess. As a sous chef myself, that was crazy. Yeah, okay. There's some crazy stuff, and I maybe after the stream, if you guys are down to chat for a moment, we can talk about it. But yeah, this was a great movie. This was Marco's pick, right? So A+ to Marco. This was great. I didn't know what to expect, and I was blown away. Very good movie. I give this like honestly easy 9.5 out of 10. Teetering on 10 out of 10. I think once I fully understand some of the things that I saw.
Can I tear off of one comment really quick before Dean goes? Just on the too many characters, there were like a few that I wanted to spend more time with. I wish that it was actually from the perspective of John Leguizamo and his assistant.
Yeah.
Those are the people I wanted to hang out with more often. I felt like they kind of got.
I feel like that's racial. Well, I feel like you're racial bonding.
It was racial for sure. I was like, come on, I want to be with my people. I want to sit over there. Sorry, Dean. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so I think I have like 20 minutes left on the movie. I had a really fucking crazy bullshit day, so did not have enough time. And I was sitting down and I was like, I don't have enough time to finish this movie. Should I even watch it? And I asked Zach, I was like, Zach, is this movie any fucking good? Because like I remember from the trailers, it looked like dog shit. And he was like, bro, this movie's fucking crazy. You have to watch this movie. I was like, all right, fine. So I start watching it, and like Zach says, it starts off pretty normal. Everyone's like so up their own ass. They get like high on their own farts. They're so pretentious. I was like, God, this is exhausting already, listening to these people. And he's like, keep going, keep pushing through it. First course, second course, third course, it's like, oh, that seems kind of weird. And then the fourth course happens, and it was just like, holy hell, what the fuck am I watching?
Disney Plus Badfish.
Bro, and so far, it's been crazy. Like, up and down, and what is happening? Like, it's crazy. So I'm excited to finish it. As soon as the stream ends, I'm going to pop off and finish the 20...
Hold on, real quick. Is this on Disney Plus? I paid $4 to rent this for this.
Oh, it's on HBO Max, Mark.
Oh no,
in Canada.
I skipped the HBO.
Wait, John,
Max.
this is on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That's crazy.
Canada's a different world, brother.
Yeah, so I haven't finished it, but I can tell you that I am enjoying it. So, yeah.
I don't know what it is with the last few movies that we picked, but I think those last 3 weeks of movies have been better than the whole year combined.
You're not
When was
wrong.
Warrior of Future?
Well, I think a lot of people haven't seen
Okay, I take it back. This movie and the one before.
So we all forgot about that one.
What did I
was
choose?
that?
What did I choose before Warrior Future? Do you all remember?
Oh, I didn't even watch that thing. No
Jesus
idea.
Christ.
It was holiday moon, no?
I know, I gotta go back.
Yeah, Warriors
It
of
was
the
a holiday.
Future was right when we got back.
Okay,
No, we watched the
so-
Christmas movie, didn't we?
Yeah. Turbo Man, I think.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay. Well, maybe the last two of
What
them.
was last week?
Last week was that crazy ass Ryan Gosling movie.
Oh, that was crazy. That movie. I love that one.
That was
The Gray Man?
The Gray
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
The Gray Man.
You know what else I watched? The Fall on Netflix. I don't know if anyone's watched that. Don't watch that. But anyways. Okay, so this movie is a must watch. There's no
So
ifs, ands, or buts. When I first heard the menu, I'm like, this is gonna be some fucking Devil Wears Prada kind of.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, like Devil Wears Prada kind of theme where they're going to be rich and this guy's going to train to be make a menu. I went into this movie.
Did you think it's that because that's the type of movie I would pick? Is that what you're saying, John?
Well, no, because if you look at the photo here, it's like, and he's a good actor. That guy, what's his name?
My wife said
Ralph.
Yeah,
Fiennes.
Katrina said it right away, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "She's into it."
He's an amazing actor, Ralph.
Yeah, he is really good.
I went into this. I didn't read any synopsis. I didn't watch the trailer. I just turned it on and watched it, and holy mac, what a turn! This is a must-watch. I don't even want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil it, but you need to watch this. The ending is a little bit. I would have wanted just a tad more from the ending, if I could be honest. But the twist.
I'm 100%.
Yeah, the ending was just a little. I think there's a lot of.
It was a little abrupt.
There's a lot of mixed messaging, underlying messages there. But damn, this makes you, at least in the beginning of the movie, look at food a whole different way. How to appreciate it, as opposed to just being water buffaloes and inhaling it when you eat.
Don't eat.
Yeah, don't eat. Exactly. Watch this movie. 7 point something out of 10 on IMDb, I think. Hold on. It was 7.3 out of 10. I don't know why, but
critic score?
No, this is the people score, I think.
What's the audience score?
I don't know. I'm looking at IMDb, not Rotten Tomatoes.
I'll give it to you.
Go ahead.
On Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes. Here.
Rotten Tomatoes. We have a wow. The critic score is 88%, and the audience score is 76%. That seems low. Everyone that I've heard talk about this movie said it was
This
amazing.
movie's incredible.
And the IMDb is 7.3.
7.3. Yeah.
So I will say, like, I liked this concept more than I did like it as a movie. Like, I thought it was a really interesting concept. I liked the actors a lot. I think it's definitely worthwhile watching. Like, it's a really interesting piece of art, to consume. As long as you're not too... I don't even want to say that because it could be a spoiler, but it is wild. I think you should know that they've got Voldemort as the main chef, so shit's going to go down, right? It's just a crazy movie.
I didn't.
I didn't even know he was Voldemort. I'm sorry, I'm not a Potterhead.
Cut off his nose. And
I had no idea until you just said that.
Yeah, so I didn't really like Nicholas Holt's portrayal, but I think that's the point. You're really not supposed to like him. He's just kind of a pretentious douche.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's not a spoilery there. He plays a perfect douche.
Yeah, he's just a complete douche.
He's actually really good in that role.
Oh, I was saying he usually plays such great characters. Like, he's a really good actor. He plays
like a nice
usually
guy.
plays like the likable guy. And in this movie just like
and you know what? That's what this movie does so well, because literally the first 30 minutes you don't know what the hell is going on, but you're still watching it. You know what I mean? Because I kept hearing like, oh, this movie's so good. And then all of a sudden when the fourth chorus came out, and I'm like, oh shit.
There you go.
Then it hits you and you're like, holy shit. And then it's like, then the movie takes off, and it's just like, it's, you know what it is? I hate like the horror movies, like the Saw movies. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any emphasis to watch those movies. No, I'm just saying it's not gory. It's not a gory movie. It's not so much a horror movie as it is a suspense movie.
Mark, shut it, man.
I'm just saying it's a suspense movie.
No, I think that's how it was described to me as well. That it's suspenseful, and I think that's a good way to categorize.
I'm just saying, if you don't want to watch this movie when you hear horror, it's not just people just getting their heads cut off and like
Mark.
Stuff.
For the love of God, Jesus,
fucking
that's not
Energizer Bunny.
That's not, but that's not spoilery because people there's stuff that gets cut up.
What part of this photo here looks like it's a horror movie?
Oh my god! I will say that the tone in the beginning, like, there's uneasiness. So like things are forecasted for sure. Things are going to get weird. That's all that we can really say. Again, Nicholas Hoult wasn't that great. Anna Taylor-Joy, is that the actress's name?
My queen.
She's just such a badass. Yeah.
Do you know the way?
Such a badass in this.
Jesus Christ.
And yeah, like I said, John Leguizamo. Like, there are other characters. Maybe that's the tough part. It felt a bit rushed. Obviously, the movie has a lot to accomplish, but it did feel rushed. Where I'm like, I kind of want to get to know these people a bit more. and
Really?
it just kind of but there is so.
Well,
Again,
slow
I'm
than
trying to be
quick.
very careful.
That's how good it was, though. You wanted more.
There you go. Yeah, it kept you wanting more. So I had a tough time kind of reconciling that. I was like, things are kind of moving. The pacing was a bit odd to me. That being said, like I just mentioned, it is worth watching. I got a lot of messages of people saying this movie was freaking crazy. I loved it. I know people were posting on the Ox Facebook group.
It's not horror, I promise.
Oh my God. No, it is.
There's
it
like
isn't.
4 people that said they're not gonna watch it.
It's
Oh
described
my
as horror, but it really is not horror. Like, I was shocked when I saw it.
Yeah, it's it's like the
love
Taco
Mark.
Bell of okay, Mark, we love you. Come back. You got to finish this off at this point. But yeah, I will say I recommend it for most people. It won't be for everyone, but I think it's worthwhile to go in and have just a crazy ride. Mark, what do you think beyond what you said?
I won't give anything out in a movie, but it's one of those where, like, if you give it an honest chance within the 50, you have to give it like a 15 to 20 minutes. Because if it wasn't for you guys telling me this is a really good movie, this would be a movie that I click on in a couple of months, and we'd watch. Me and Katrina would start for like 10 minutes, and then we'd click to something else.
Yeah, it does
it's
start at like 15 minutes is when the first course hits.
Yeah, and it's always I mean, just even them arriving. These are all people arriving at a restaurant. Just arriving to the restaurant, to me, I'm just like, I don't know what the hell's going on, because I'm thinking this is a horror film. It doesn't.
You know the 90s movie The Game with Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
I almost kind of felt like that, where like things aren't necessarily as they seem.
Yeah.
There's surprises around the bend. It's more suspense.
And like, after you watch the movie, you'll think it's a horror movie. But in general, it's a suspense movie. It's a suspense because you're just wondering, like, you're watching it. You don't know why you're watching it. But at the same time, you're like a little bit horrified, a little bit like, oh, fuck. And you're like, you start thinking to yourself, like, why are these people doing this? Why is this person doing that? And that's what a suspense movie is supposed to do. It just like gets your heart rate up a little bit. It gets you a little excited, but at the same time, you're eating. You're sitting on your ass. Drinking a cocktail or eating some popcorn. This was a very great movie. And in the first 20 minutes, because like I was late to come to the show, so when I first started watching it, I was trying to like binge it quick, and I was just like, why the fuck am I watching this? That's literally that's what I felt first 15 minutes, and that's why I said I don't want people to like. I just want people to give it a shot, because once I started watching it, then I was a little late coming onto the show because I was like, "Fuck, I need to finish watching this show."
If you watch this movie and don't like it, I'll
really
take
good.
responsibility for not liking it.
Now Marcus should. He said it, but it's actually a really good movie. No, it's something you have to watch. I can't imagine somebody like watching it and thinking like I wasted my time.
No
it's
way.
no. I don't know what a horrible movie thinking of.
Gigi says, Mark, I will say Marco was very excited to stream with you
Yeah, I
today.
told her, I was like, Mark's going to be on the show tonight. Freaking love him.
Oh, Gigi.
We're not supposed to say nice things to his face. Though.
I love
Come on,
Mark.
Gigi, only behind his back.
And I'm sorry I yelled at you, Mark.
I can feel eyes rolling every time I talk. I start talking. I'm sorry. Like right now.
Stop saying you're sorry, God damn it.
Fuck, man. In doses.
Dean.
Wow. Love you, Mark.
He's laughing. Look.
Dean.
You just keep saying my name. You're not saying it.
Well, I thought you were gonna do the pillars, and you weren't even looking at me. I didn't know what you were doing.
Usually you say
I thought you may have
something.
collapsed or something. I thought you were
I'm
googling
right
Mudhorn
here.
so that you could see how muddy they actually are. Because I have the photo. We're gonna talk about it in a little bit. You fucking guy.
Yeah. Give a shout out to the 3 sweet, beautiful pillars. Give a quick shout out to Sean Fear, Ian CV, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Damon Irish, Wildbrother, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, there's Kevin on schedule, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krepp, Big Old Fern, King Zach, Susan Merriquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alad Morgan, Tukothri Wad, Derek B, Aries Portillo, Mark Randolph, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, Carlos Saavedra, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Domaton, Jimmy James, Stephen Pritchett, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Stephen Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer.
A bunch of angels.
Sweet angels.
We have one of two stickers coming for January, either the Chase version, which is with the hats on for OxPD, or the normal version. I still haven't figured out.
Why is it even blurred? It's like
because it's top secret. I know. It's kind of just a funny thing. You can only lay eyes on it if you're lucky enough to get the Chase. Okay, that's why.
That's so funny.
Fuck you. The hot seat. It's more in jest, to be honest. The Patreon starts at $5 for the digital hot seat. Sweet Angel is $7.50, which gets you access to Ox After Dark and stickers sent straight to your door. Certified Crispy is the Certified Crispy Certificate and Figure Fix Assistance, and the What a Guy is the doubles of all the stickers we send, and the Pog Deluxe sets with stickers for all the physical tiers being sent every other month. YouTube channel members, we have Mojo Z78, Absolute Irwin, DK Avenger 702, OMFG Rick, S Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Samgus, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hansen, Chris V, Big Ol' Fern, Cram, V Juarez, OG Fan, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Money Mendez, Sia Dreams, JC Beachan, Fat Batman, and Justin Sports Card Museum. Dante says, Dean finally didn't pause before reading my name on the list. What a guy. Membership starts at 99 cents if you're a Patreon member, or $2.99 if you are not. You get loyalty badges and custom emojis, and of course your member shoutouts. Looking at the network, we have After Dark tomorrow at 10:30. We got a great live unboxing Monday. Yesterday, unfortunately, I had a crazy migraine and I just wasn't feeling well, but I'm bummed because you guys unboxed that badass statue. I feel so lame that I missed out.
No, Lane was there.
Jesus Christ. We have Small Talk on Thursday. We're having Vintage Rebellion join us, so that should be a pretty fun little show. Friday, we have Club as per usual. And then Saturday, I believe we have Dungeons & Dragons, which should be a great episode. OxPD recorded last week. And we do have dates for Pose Wars and Reissue later in the month, so it should be a great bit of content for you guys as per usual. TeePublic, if you want to get some swag from the network, show your support there. That is where to go. And John, can we have some socials, please?
On Facebook, follow us at Collecting Weekly, as well as Collecting Weekly Auxiliary. And on Instagram, at Collecting Weekly, at Collecting Weekly _clips, and at The Everyday Collector.
You love to see it. Let's... Dean, I need to know. Why are you the way that you are? Why are you the way that you
that's
are?
what a mudhorn's supposed to look like. Okay.
It looks pretty accurate, though.
It looks like hairy, not like mud.
Okay, so do you want me to root the hair?
Well, just you like.
Oh, I think you did a good job.
Thank you, John.
It's enough.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Marco, you're dead to me.
I just hope my Vader comes out better painted than that. That's
wow. Wow, you're breaking my heart. Look at this. Look at this cool.
Let's see this. Oh, that looks so good.
Hey, let's
Damn.
get Pancake in here.
Mine's going to come damaged, I already know. But here's Pancake.
Oh, your box isn't going to be mint without it.
Yeah, that's right. No mint boxes for me.
I'm going to hang up on you just like NECA did.
No, Kevin, it's Pancake.
Oh my god, too soon. Too soon.
Anyways, let's plug our good friends here. Let's see, where's the button for that? Bada boom. There you go. If you want to support John, Marco, and Ben, their links are there. You can click them from YouTube. Give them a sub. We got to get our boys up to 1 billion subs. Look at that, Gigi's in the stream.
We're still live.
John. Oh, there you go. John and Marco, do you guys have anything that you guys are doing on your channels do you want to plug?
Marco, go ahead.
Yeah, not a whole lot upcoming. We just did a lot of episodes last week, so I would say if you haven't seen it yet, check out a stream we did of Bargain Bin Bros. John was on there. We talked about In Art Phase 1 and kind of figures that we have only been teased so far, but we haven't seen actual prototypes of yet, and phase 2. So that was a really fun stream. And then Gigi and I recently did a She Said No podcast where she talked about the DeLorean and the in-art Aragorn. So it was a heated episode. So go check those out on our channel. Give us a sub if you wouldn't mind. And I just want to say shout out to Mark Pearson, who we give so much shit to, but he showed up like Alicent Hightower in the green dress tonight, answered the call. It was a beautiful thing to see. And he's just, I cannot wait to drink whiskey with you until our faces are numb.
Oh my God. I can't wait till next year, guys.
Shout out to Mark Pearson for the photos he's about to send me of the TVC stuff that he's hooking me up with. You're so great, Mark.
Oh, big
Can't
time.
wait to see those photos tonight. Actually, I've had a lot of people message me about this, and I promise, I'm going to make a chat this week for OxCon 23. So if anyone wants in, send me a message on Facebook. Please send me a message. Don't comment it now. And I'll make a chat. I should know some dates that we can select from by the end of this week. And then we'll kind of set it in stone so that everyone can plan accordingly. But OxCon 23, San Antonio, it is happening. I'm very excited. And
Nice.
I can't wait to have Mark in my arms again because I love that guy. I really do.
Can't wait.
I cried when Mark left. I did. Vivi cried. My daughter literally broke down in tears when Mark and Katrina left.
I literally have the picture of looking in your back seat and seeing Vivi
just
it was literally
welled up tears.
Oh my God,
dude!
I don't even want to talk about it. Dude.
And I'll tell you this: she was so excited when I said that Mark was going to. She loves the Eagles. She's always like, "Dad, can we go see the Eagles play?" And I have to explain to her that they don't just play where we live. And because she's a big Eagles fan, because I always wear the hats. And I was like, "Well, I'll tell you what. I'll ask Mark if he can find you a shirt." And she got so happy. I'm excited the relationship that you guys have, but two, she's gonna love whatever you send her. She's
I'm on the hunt because a lot of the stuff here is like sweatshirts or long sleeve shirts, and really, if you're in Texas, you're not gonna want too many long sleeve sweatshirts. So tomorrow I'm going to the. You don't know the name of the place here, but it's the Eagle store. So I'll be going there tomorrow after work. So I'm excited.
Hell yeah, baby.
About it.
Thanks, bro. Any other shout outs, or John, you have anything you want to plug on your channel?
No, just
you've been doing those great videos, John, the out of the box videos. I like those. They're real. I always joke, is it you read it like this or like this? It's like out of the box.
Yeah.
I like it. Those are cool.
It's been fun just doing some stuff. No, mostly club on Friday. That's where I'm putting the most of my energy into. We've been having some fun talking the statues and chilling a bit because it's Chinese New Year now, so not too much news. But we've been playing Jeopardy, which has been fun. I think we've finally figured a formula to have a perfect game, so we're going to try that out on Friday.
What is it? Year of the Rabbit, I think, right? Coming up?
I think so.
Yeah, very cool. So I want to say, I don't know if we addressed this before the stream or during the stream, but we are working with 1/6 Corner, hopefully to get them back on the sponsor roster. But it is Chinese New Year coming up, so, we'll see what happens. But if you want to sponsor us, email me, Zach@collectingweekly.com.
What are you supposed to say? Kung Hei Fa Choi?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's how it is.
You're on mute, Dean.
I feel like in a way it will get canceled if.
No, it's Happy New Year. It's Kung Hei Fa Choi.
Kung Hei Fa Choi.
I think Ben's going to have a
that
friend in
was
a sensitivity training.
Happy New Year.
So we're all going to be joining him in California for.
Wow.
Oh, Sam, you like it, man? Awesome. You love to hear it.
Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for those that watch live and for those that'll watch on the replay. My name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm John.
I'm Mark.
Marco.
Oh,
wow.
They got us.
I'm
sorry, I went by the line.
It's okay. Mark's not going to be on for a while. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Perfect unison.
First and last
Dean,
time.
hit me with that
show.
bye, Dean.
Bye.
Sorry about that.